Hey folks, welcome to Meeting of the Minds, the returning.
Woohoo!
Yes. Tonight's co-host, we have just some guy.
Hello.
Oh, that was not supposed to do that. That was not supposed to do that. Anyway, and of course, Sporkman from
What up,
Sporkman
yos?
Reviews. And your friendly neighborhood ninja who is currently occupied. He will return momentarily. So, you guys ready to talk about the Battle of the Marvels and which one, let's be honest, the one that everyone's actually excited to see versus the one that nobody asked for?
For sure. I know I am.
Yes, I am here.
You return. So, I'm going to go ahead and start with Chris. I know, like I stated with earlier, I know you have a lot of insight to the new Captain Marvel.
Well, I'm saddened to see how much Disney is allowing their lead actress to screw up their marketing plan. Unless this is the intention, is to let her trash the male audience. It's a pretty stupid business move to have her telling the people who are most likely to see the movie, "Hey, I don't like you." That's not that brilliant a move. And it seems like every time you turn around, she says something that's more irritating. And I think they think that this is gonna like bring the feminists out. I mean, they didn't show up for Ghostbusters, and that was their movie. That movie completely tanked. So I don't know. It's not a good move.
Definitely. Park, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think I agree with Chris 100% that that it's going to be a shit show. They had their chance with Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman did really well. It looks like they want to do revisionist history just in less than 2 years. I mean, what was it? Wonder Woman supposed to be like the iconic feminist, icon and stuff like that. Gee, how short memory everybody is.
And don't forget Supergirl on TV. Don't forget that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I was excited for the film when they announced it. But with this whole thing with them, they really just don't want me to spend my money at all. So,
all right, Ninja.
Yes. Well, this whole thing with Brie Larson is going to be a complete and total disaster. I mean, I hadn't planned on seeing the movie to begin with just because it looks, I don't know, boring. So, yeah, they're certainly not going to get my money, especially telling me not to come to the theater. Oh, well then. You definitely know I'm not going to be watching it.
Right.
Get out of here. I mean, yeah, you get that resting bitch face all the time. Oh, yeah.
I don't
I'm
understand that look. I really don't. All these press junkets, someone has had to tell her at some point, okay, I want you to try something just for shits and giggles. There are muscles on the side of your lips. Can you try to make them move toward your eyebrows? Just like a little bit. And it'll be a smirk. But that would be better than, oh my God, I hate this fucking job. That's the look that you have on your face in every picture. Why did you sign up for like a 9-picture deal if you didn't really want to do this?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, why you look so miserable? You're doing something that millions of women would freaking kill to do. And you just look like you're having the least amount of fun, most miserable person that has ever set foot on a movie set.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and before I go into Marty's comment, which I love, my whole thought is Brie Larson is what happens when you look like, quite frankly, she looks like she hasn't had a moment of happiness since America's Hollywood decided to go woke. I mean, you look over at the various versions of Hollywood around the world, Bollywood, China's version of Hollywood, things like that. They don't have this problem, and all their celebrities don't constantly look like they're in a competition to see who's the most woke. And Brie Larson is the what happens of doing that the longest. She's reached the like final level of wokeness where there is no emotion. There's only the wokeness.
Well, she hasn't done the hair thing yet that Scarlett Johansson has yet. So she might have some hope. Because Scarlett's kind of done the whole hair thing where she shaved the hair off and, it's to the right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe there is some hope. But,
Oh, yeah. But the whole point that I'm making is the fact that she literally just constantly looks constipated. Like she's like, "Oh God, will you please shut the fuck up so I can go take a shit, please."
See, that's more emotion than there's actually in that picture. She like Data from Star Trek showed more emotion on his face.
Very true.
And I mean, there's just nothing there. She is so joyless in every image. And it's like you compare all of the images you can find of Wonder Woman and you compare them to all the images you find of Captain Marvel. And you could find like 80 different versions of Gal Gadot's face where she's happy, she's sad, she's contemplative, she's in joy, she's in pain, all over the place. This was their press junket. Every picture of Brie Larson, every one from the picture, every single one, she could not be less enthused. It's like how are you this unhappy on the film? Is it because you have a flat ass? Is that it?
Yes, it totally is.
That everybody got to see your complete board from the shoulders to the cankles? Is that what's going on? Because you should be happy. You are in a major motion picture. You're getting to be on screen with a bunch of different actors. They're basically trying to make you a worldwide international star. Crack a fucking smile. Jesus Christ. I know you didn't get that much money, but try to pretend that you got, like $50,000 and be happy. Jesus, woman.
Well, and what makes it funnier is like, all right, she got so mad when everyone decided, like the photoshoppers started photoshopping smiles on her face and everyone was sharing it around and everything. It's like, maybe because you are looking like the resting bitch face doesn't work.
Oh my God.
But when you smiled, yeah, actually looks like Captain Marvel. Oh my God, it's amazing. Because Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers is a smiley person.
Mm-hmm.
She's not an uber bitch. Carl Manvers is the uber bitch. We don't like Carl Manvers. Give us Carol Danvers, who's fun.
Actually, I want Carl Manvers. Can we get Carl Manvers? Can we find some woman in Hollywood that can pull off that look? What's her face? Get Gwendolyn from frickin' Game of Thrones. Make her Carl Manvers for the movie. There we go.
Superman.
Fixed it. That's who you get. You go get her, since they didn't want to do anything with her with Captain Phasma. Give her Captain Marvel, and she get it.
No, what we really need is Monica Rambeau. That's who we need as Captain Marvel.
I want to go to a Marvel like forum or one of those little group talks that they have. Maybe if they have it at C2E2, and I feel like sitting all day to get to talk. I just want to be able to go up there and say, so could I ask a question? You guys are all about being diverse and inclusive and representative. You want to have representation. So how come when you decided to make a new Captain Marvel, you made it a, cisgendered, heterosexual white woman? How come you couldn't pick Monica Rambeau? Was she too black for you?
Yes.
Too much afro? Is that what was going on? Why didn't you pick her? Because she's got like a stupid power set right now. How come you didn't want to give her new powers? Can't there be two Captain Marvels? How come she can't be Captain Marvel 2? The real Captain Marvel. How come we can't have that?
Exactly.
Just to see what they would say. Just to see what they would say.
And I'd literally be like, hey, you decided you wanted to go the woke route. You went with pulling a character out of retirement into a role that she originally had back in the day. So what's wrong? Oh, well, wait, that required you actually having read a comic book?
They probably don't even know who. Like, I'm pretty sure the Son of Amina has no idea who Monica Rambeau is.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that 100%. You know, especially I mean, she doesn't even. You listen to her talking half the time. She doesn't even understand half the characters that that were created, unless they were created within the last 5 years.
Well, my whole thought is which segues into the what everyone here is excited about, the Captain Marvel movie that we all want to see, which is Shazam.
Woohoo! Zachary Levi. That's my boy right there, man. That is my boy right there.
Like, you want to talk
that movie looks good. Telling you.
Dude, and what's funny is the two Captain Marvels, they're polar opposites. One is like Brie Larson, resting bitch face, just no fun whatsoever. There is no fun in the Brie Larson zone. Okay? Then you have Shazam, and it's all, we're going to be all the camp, we're going to be all the fun, we're going to be everything that a superhero movie should be, especially about a superhero movie that has a 10-year-old gaining the power set basically of Superman.
Yeah, it's got a lot of fun to it. I'm interested to see whether or not they just cut together all the fun scenes and then make the trailer, or if that's actually the entire film. Because they'll do that. They'll put together some bullshit to make you think it's one thing, and then you go into the movie and it's completely different. So it'll be interesting to see what it is, but it looks like it's fun. So I'm game.
Well, according to Zachary, because I follow him on Twitter, and that they really tried to be very lighthearted with the first film, because they're going to be doing they're going to be doing the second one with Black Adam, and that's going to be a separate story, and then their plan was to kind of do one with them two together against each other.
Are they still? So they're going to do Black Adam like as a separate thing, or he's going to be his own character?
Hey, can anyone confirm?
Last I heard,
can anyone confirm if The Rock is going to play Black Adam or not?
Last thing I heard, he is still tapped as of right now to play Black Adam.
That's going to be awesome.
Yes.
No snap.
Dude, and let's be honest,
yeah.
The Rock is one of those few. The Rock is one of those few like individuals that made the leap. Actually, I think he's the only other. Well, no, Roddy Piper I think did too. That made the leap from wrestling to acting successfully and believably. Like,
no, he's got it. He's got the charisma to be able to work on screen. You don't have to as long as you don't give him anything too heavy, he's fine. If you give him like a really heavy scene, I don't know if he can handle it. But you give him something that's middle of the road, he'll knock it out the park. If you can get him and Henry Cavill on screen together as Black Adam and Superman, that would be like the hotness.
Oh yeah, especially Zachary Levy as Shazam, all three on the screen going at it.
And then bribe Christopher Nolan with a lot of money so you can get Christian Bale back and then have him as Batman. And I think the entire world will explode. You throw in some Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa, and that's it. That's all you need. Like, you could just have them in the film, and that'd be it.
Can we please replace the Flash?
Yes.
Ezra Miller. Just no. You do not need to be the Flash. Like, it worked with one movie. I don't think it'd work of a movie of just him alone being that version of Barry Allen.
It's not that version of it. That's him. He's just playing himself because he's really that odd, and it's like, okay, all right, that's not who the Flash is. Just settle down.
Why am I not surprised, really?
Yeah, so the last update was back in August. He is there originally was supposed to, according to what they said, there was originally supposed to be a cameo with him in Shazam, but they decided to scrap it, and they're working on the script.
Well, DC's got a whole other, or Warner Brothers has a whole other problem because they got to fix their screwed up continuity.
Well, let's be honest. The that whole situation was brought about because of Warner Brothers. It wasn't Warner Brothers needs to fix their screwed up continuity. It's Warner Brothers needs to just let their directors do their job.
Well, they need to pick the right director first.
Hmm.
They picked the wrong director. I like Zack Snyder. Man of Steel is my favorite Superman film. So just before anybody's like, oh, you know, that's my favorite Superman movie. But
I like it too. I thought they did a
he
really
was
good
the
Same
job.
wrong
here.
director. He's just period. His style doesn't fit what they wanted to do. They should have found someone who could do that kind of fantasy made real feel that they wanted. If you couldn't get Christopher Nolan to, headline the thing, Brad Bird wasn't doing anything at the time. Why didn't you call him? Like, call him up. I know y'all kind of screwed him over with the Iron Giant. Call him up, make amends, and get him to direct one of your movies because it will be awesome. It's like they didn't find the right director to do the vision that they had, and then they kept meddling with the damn thing. And it's
Mhm.
like, let the person do the job. Stop cutting 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour out of the film so you have a shorter runtime. If the film is good, people will go and see it again.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like they're trying to make it a shorter runtime, and it's like no, people have become quite accustomed to going to see these movies and being there for 2.5 hours.
Well, it's not that why they cut the runtime because they don't can't do as many showings
Yeah.
within that in that runtime. So which is why they have to cut them down. So you know, for me, the way I see it is, you know, yeah, once again, Man of Steel, excellent film in my opinion. They should have got somebody else to do, in my opinion, they should have got somebody else to do BBS, or they should have held off on BBS, do a Wonder Woman film and a Batman film, and then do your Batman versus Superman.
Well, they had to fix their Superman fuck up. That was
Well,
that was their first mistake. So they screwed up the ending by pissing off so many people because Superman didn't smile enough. It's a stupid complaint, but fine. They made the complaint. You want them to give you your money. This is what you're going to have to do. So fix that first in Man of Steel 2. Then you can start bringing in your other characters. But instead of fixing it, they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just let him do Batman versus Superman. And it's like, okay, fine, he's going to do Batman versus Superman. I don't know how that's going to work, but you're going to pull from the Dark Knight Returns. All right, fine, okay. And then he started cramming in more characters. At some point, the studio should have been like, we're not doing the Justice League, right? We're not doing that yet. You get Batman and Superman, and then you can tease people with Wonder Woman. That's it. Stop adding in everybody. And then when they did Doomsday, it's like when he said that, how come there was nobody there to go, just shut the fuck up?
well, apparently Chris Nolan, yeah, because apparently what happened was Chris Nolan was the one saying, "Stop it." Apparently, I guess from what I understand, the argument got too heated between the two of them, and Chris Nolan basically left the set, and
Yeah, well,
he wanted nothing to do with it.
I can see that happening too. Because he was against killing Zod at the end of the Man of Steel. He was
Hmm.
against that. So I mean I get it. The weird part was that they were trying to create what Marvel had done and Disney had done by having this sort of overseer, and they wanted Nolan to be the overseer, and he didn't want to do that. It's like, well, but you got Paul Dini and Bruce Timm who already did this, so why don't you call them and let them manage this because they've already done it. So
With the
there you go.
animated property, and they did it well. And minute you mention Bruce Timm, Paul Dini teaming up again on another, you know what I mean, DC universe. Everyone who grew up watching them are going to be like sold,
Yeah,
sold.
it's just a missed opportunity that they really didn't have to miss.
Yeah.
And now they've walked themselves into this problem. And then with Aquaman, you know, with Wonder Woman, they were kind of out of it because it's a prequel, so they're not that locked in. But Aquaman follows the Justice League, so it's like you can change the tone, but you're still locking yourself into what Snyder set up. Your out was Flash doing the Flashpoint storyline, which they're apparently not going to do anymore.
which is
So,
stupid because that they would have
yeah,
been able to. They could have feasibly recast everyone who had wanted to leave at that point, and no one would have said anything because that's what happens every time a reboot within the DC universe happens. You get new iterations of the characters that look a bit different. So it'd be feasible to have a new actor.
yeah. But I mean, at this point, Gal Gadot has been in more of these movies than Henry Cavill. She's
Hmm.
gonna have she was basically a cameo in BVS. She was a main cast member in Justice League. She had her own movie. She's gonna have a second movie come out. Cavill still hasn't gotten his second Superman movie yet, and he's more or less out of his contract because he's done his 3 films. And
Yep.
it's like you're gonna find another Superman. The dude is perfect. He looks
Dude,
the part,
he does. He
and if you gave
Hmm.
him like something to chew on, he could actually show off his acting skills because he's good. If you're questioning whether he's good, go and watch the Tudors. He's in that. He is absolutely phenomenal.
The new Mission Impossible.
It was great.
If you really want to see him deliver some acting chops, Mission Impossible. I mean, he was great as a good guy, and I don't want to spoil what happened in there. But seriously, go watch the new Mission Impossible, guys. I'll tell you what, you guys will drop your jaw on how excellent he is. I think Snyder is DC is or Marvel who or excuse me Warner Brothers is dropping the ball big time. I would have locked him into a more longer contract.
Well, he probably didn't want to do the. Well, my guess
True.
is that he probably thought he was going to do 2 Superman films and then like a Justice League movie. That's probably what he thought was going to happen. And that was probably what they were planning to do was you do 2 movies and we do a Justice League movie and in between your movies we're doing all these other movies. But the response to Man of Steel was so ridiculous that the studio was like, okay, we got to fix this. Well, the way you fix it is you let Zack Snyder handle Superman,
Hmm.
and that's all he touches is Superman. You get somebody else to do the other stuff. You do not have to have one guy directing all your movies because it's going to end up being a mess.
and it ended up being a mess. And like, and honestly, let's be honest. Their first attempt at it with the Green Lantern movie. All right, my whole thought is this has been a problem that Warner Brothers has had for a while. They don't seem to get people that actually know what the hell they're doing to these roles. It's like, okay, if you came up to me and said, all right, we want to make a DC movie franchise similar to that of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but we want to do it with our characters and we want to do it starting with Green Lantern. We got Ryan Reynolds to star. What are you going to do? Okay.
Fire Ryan Reynolds, fire him immediately because that's the wrong guy.
Well, here's something else too. So, I actually was talking to my sister. I said one of the biggest mistakes they made with Justice League is why didn't you bring John Stewart in?
That's a good point. They could have brought in Jon Stewart and it would have. Jon Stewart's a good character.
I think he would have been a better character than Cyborg, but they wanted that whole mother box, him facing with technology and everything.
It's just a mess. See,
Yeah.
if they were gonna do like a, because I know they're trying to get Green Lantern off the ground, get Army Hammer to be Hal Jordan.
Hmm.
I just watched him in Call Me by Your Name, and he's a fantastic actor. He looks the part. He's got the features, right? So it's just like get him. He's old enough to like make that believable. I know that Tom Cruise is kind of fiending for the role. So he wants to be in there. If they got Tom Cruise to be in there, honestly, I think that could help because Tom Cruise is really controlling about it and he doesn't like his movies to be like completely screwed.
Hmm.
So he would not let Warner Brothers jack this stuff up the way that they've been doing it. I mean, the Universal stuff didn't go over that well, but the Mummy, it's not unwatchable. It's just not that good.
Well, and let's be honest, if they had in them getting rid of the Dark Universe, like world or whatever that they were trying to set up, it wasn't the answer. What they should have done is been like, okay, take a step back. We had a couple of missteps. We're not screwed. Let's make the next movie. Let's make sure it's good. Let's make sure it's, find the right balance between studio intervention and letting the artist be artist.
See, I'm in a different category. My thing is own that shit and reboot that shit. Hard reboot it.
Well, but if are you gonna use the same actors, or are you gonna get rid of them?
Nope, all new actors.
I mean, Gal Gadot is she's perfect.
Well,
you're not gonna be able to replace her that easily.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. But everybody else, I think, at this point is replaceable. I mean, as much as I love Henry Cavill as Superman, I just don't think he wants to come back. So my thing is hard to reboot everything. You could probably still leave her in there as Wonder Woman. I mean, point in case, look at Bumblebee. Did you guys watch Bumblebee?
Nope.
No, I haven't seen any of those Transformer movies after the first one. One Michael Bay movie was enough.
Well, here's the good thing. Michael Bay did not direct this at all. Matter of fact, actually, one of the great things that sold me on the film, when they started out in the beginning and they were on Cybertron, everybody was in their Gen 1 form.
Oh, that's cool.
So right there, that was the first thing that sold me. When you had the directors being able to have everybody in their Gen 1 forms, like they literally, you saw Wheeljack, you saw, Starscream, everybody, even Soundwave was in his Gen 1 form.
Oh, that's cool.
And they had Ravage in his, so I think it can be done. I mean, if you do a hard reboot, there are some things you can probably still keep.
Okay, yeah.
Like Wonder Woman, but everything else, in my opinion, should just, in all purposes, should just be rebooted. Sorry to interrupt that. All right.
Well, you've also got the issue though.
I might have to watch that now.
With Shazam though, they're bringing that.
Optimus Prime is best.
You okay over there, Ninja? Is everybody there?
I'm still here.
I don't know if Ninja and...
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm here.
Okay. You just look like you were muted. What I was saying, though, is that there's going to be the Shazam movie, and that's part of that universe, too.
Yeah.
So
I just don't want to make noise in the back.
Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I made my point.
Sorry about that, I guess. All right. Yeah, well, true. And I maybe I might hold off to see what I
think it's funny that they release Marvel movies.
Ninja, what's going on, dude? You're like way behind. He keeps cutting in and out.
Nothing?
Now, I think that you have... Are you watching the YouTube?
Sorry?
Or are you watching the actual Google Hangout? Because it sounds like there's a delay, and the delay usually happens if you're watching the YouTube
Hangout
footage. Huh, that's weird.
He's definitely got some lag then.
Yeah.
Huh. I apologize. I also ran to get more coffee and whatnot.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just got back, so I apologize.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, well, Chris, a good point in case. So maybe I'll hold off and till after the Shazam movie, and then maybe I'll see how they go. Right now, I'm on the side of more of a hard reboot. For because really Justice League kind of really just and then in all honesty, I watched Aquaman and I call it 20,000 Leagues Under Par. it wasn't as it's not a $1 billion movie that everybody's making it out to be.
No, it's not that good. It's just that it hit all the points that they needed to hit. It's a dumb action film.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they had made one of those, so they got their dumb action film. I enjoyed it. I had fun with it for what it was. I wasn't expecting it to be like the greatest thing ever. It's good. It's basically an origin story that kind of isn't really an origin story because we've
Hmm.
already seen the character two other times, but it's basically an origin story. So it works the same way Man of Steel and Wonder Woman worked. And
Yeah.
and it's just that because it was bright and Jason Momoa is, he's funny in the movie, that just got people to go and see it.
Now, as him, I enjoy Jason Momoa as an actor, and I think he's really great. I thought he was great. I think what I guess for me it was pretty much really the movie was what I compare it to is like Journey to the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues Under Sea. That's really what it felt like to be. Like I was watching basically the Jules Verne film with Aquaman.
Yeah. But isn't that basically what Aquaman is 90% of the time?
True. That's a good point. Good point.
All I gotta say is though the fact that everyone's been saying it's a pretty good movie has definitely made me like I want to see this movie now.
I would agree. Just go watch it though. I mean, it was better than the travesty of the Justice League, for
Like,
sure.
but could you imagine just not even 10 years ago, just 2 years ago. It's 2017, and I tell you, Aquaman will be the highest grossing DC film ever. You'd still be laughing right now.
Yeah,
Like that,
Probably.
no one would believe Aquaman would make $1 billion.
yeah,
And it not only made $1 billion, it beat all of the other DC films. That's insane.
yeah.
That's because Jason Momoa is so damn sexy.
That's totally what it is. That's
Yeah,
totally.
totally.
I mean, if you didn't realize he was sexy for the first 20 minutes of the movie, you will know because they stop and pause to let you know how sexy he is. Every like 5 minutes, it's like, did you see the chest? Here it is again. Did you see it just from another angle? Look, I'm going to walk through smoke and steam so you can see it there. Now I'm glistening with water. Do you not see how sexy this is?
Yep. Gotta give credit to James Wan where he good. I mean, in all honesty, he's a great director, though. I mean, he worked with the material that he had. I will give him that. It was. I mean, like I said, I know I rag it for being 20,000 Leagues under par, but it was like you said, it was a dumb action film. It was a great popcorn flick. You had fun, and yeah. So I mean, it's amazing to see that Black Panther and that movie, who I would have those two movies I would have never thought would make that kind of money. Both have just like completely shattered superhero, what previous superhero movies made.
Yeah, well, they definitely shattered expectations. I think with Black Panther, the hype around the film helped a lot because people just wanted to see that character because of how cool he was in Civil War. And so that helped with that. And then with Aquaman, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what made this movie do so well because there's nothing drawing people to the movie. It's the last movie that came out, people basically hated. So you've got one that people really liked, Wonder Woman. Man of Steel, they're iffy on. Suicide Squad, they liked when it came out, and then they changed their mind like the next year. It's like, no, actually, we hate that movie now.
Hmm.
So it's like the other movies they all hated. You have no reason to want to see Aquaman, and yet he's just bringing out the dollars.
Because
Yeah.
Jason Momoa always has like. I guess you could say it's the fact that you can tell he's just one of those individuals that's there to have fun. He's not trying to put politics in it. He's just trying to show up, make you want to see the movie, and go home.
Yeah, and
Mm.
he did his job. It was very good. I was entertained. I was very entertained, and I did stay the entire time, wondering if they were just going to have something happen at the end of the movie, and they didn't. I'm like, okay, it's fine. I can live with it. I mean, 99% of the movies that have ever came out don't have stuff happen after the end of the credits. But you could have had Gal Gadot just pop up in there for like 1 minute, just like, "Hi, it's Wonder Woman," and then leave.
Hi,
You know,
I'm still here. You haven't forgot about me yet, right? Later.
it's the one that you like. You know, just in the next movie, I want her to do the spin. I will not be satisfied until she does the spin. She
Yep.
has to do the spin.
You know, we were talking about the weird, the oddity of Wonder Woman being done in '84, where like, you know, like the '70s and '80s were like the worst time for Diana, you know, in terms of comics. So
Oh, yeah.
and they're gonna set in 1984. It's
What happened in '84 that's so pivotal? I'm trying to remember.
that was the assassination of Reagan.
Well, he wasn't dead.
No, well,
He
the attempted
attempted.
assassination. But other
They're
than
gonna
that,
try Cheetah into that. No.
yeah, I
It's
know.
gotta
I'm
be
trying to
something
think of
else.
anything else that would be really, because Berlin Wall didn't fall till the '90s.
Yeah.
So there wasn't really much going on in the '80s. I was 9 years old in '84. There was when was Challenger?
That was like '88 because I was in school when that happened. I was literally at school when they turned the TV on so we could watch a shuttle
think
blow
that-
up. Thank you.
Right. I
Not
think that's 87.
traumatizing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's 87.
'86.
87, 86?
Yep. Other than that, the Olympics were the only other thing. And then those were in LA.
I don't get why they're
Oh
sitting
no
in
no no no
84.
no! '84. That's when because the Olympics. That's when they had the
Isn't it the Mossad, the Jewish thing?
terrorist. Yeah,
Maybe that's the tie-in because she is Israeli. Yes,
yeah.
maybe that's it. Okay,
Ooh, getting political.
I can live with it. I don't care. She can do no wrong.
It's Calvin.
It's true.
I've completely fallen in love with Gal Gadot. She could literally go up to, "I hate all men." That's okay.
Me too.
You're a goddess. That's okay.
That trench run sold me. She nailed that. That whole scene of her just getting up, going like, "I'm gonna do it," and
Mhm.
just gets up there and just takes all the fire, and then she destroys all those Germans. And my favorite part is when Steve starts like protecting her, and she does that little turnaround, like, "I don't want you to kill anybody." So then she goes and kills everyone. It's like, oh come on. I love that. I just love that her whole idea was, let's not fight. As she's beating the literal shit out of everybody she comes across.
Mhm.
Just
Like
awesome.
the sniper with a sniper there, she just tosses that tank into the clock tower. It's like,
oh, totally dead. Everyone else she was trying to kind of save. I mean, she hit the tank. They're dead. There's no way they're not dead, right? She threw like a guy off a roof. He's dead. You hit him into a brick wall, which shattered. He's dead. But the rest of them, yeah, okay, you were trying to pretend not to. The dude in the clock tower, you dropped the clock tower on him. He's dead. So, because she didn't go back and like take him out. So that body is still up there.
mm-hmm.
May I say I don't think she killed them. They just you didn't see the shot of them moaning and groaning like in X-Men Apocalypse.
No, the one who has the biggest murder count has got to be Batman because he was
for
just
sure.
like nailing people.
That scene when he's going to rescue Martha. In all honesty, and I really wish they would do a movie with Ben because that's what sold me on. Because I'm not a big Ben fan. I could take or leave him depending on the movie, but damn that sequence with him fighting right there in that scene with Martin in BBS was just unbelievable.
The ending, I hadn't even paid attention to it the first couple of times I watched it, and then I watched something with Kevin Smith where he brings this up. Is like Batman nails the dude to the wall. Like the dude stabs him in the shoulder with a knife, right? So he
Yep.
pulls a knife out and then nails the guy to the wall, and then he goes and takes out everybody else, and he's killing everyone he hits because these are like death blows. like there's neck snapping, there's back snapping, ribs. Maybe one guy has like some ribs broken. Everyone else is dead. Okay, except for the guy on the wall. So then he stops and then he goes over to the dude on the wall, and you don't see what he does, but you can see his hand, that's like at the bottom of the frame, like grabbing. So obviously he's grabbing the dude's balls. And Kevin Smith is like, there's something about this dude stabbing him. And he's like, I've just got to go and get them balls. Because he straight up goes over and like does something to this dude
Mm-hmm.
that you can't see. And there's only really one place he's going to go. So, I mean, that's how that scene ends. I love that scene. But they're going to recast because he's out. So,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I liked his portrayal of Frank Miller Batman. I thought it was very well done.
Yeah.
Like, and then you have the they're talking about bringing in the dude from Twilight was the last person I heard them talking about.
oh, no.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Robert Patterson?
Yes.
Patterson?
That's the name I heard them floating
Robert
about.
Patterson. I don't know that person.
You don't want to know. Consider yourself lucky. The fact that I know he's in Twilight says enough about me that I'm ashamed about.
Oh, he does not look like Batman at all.
We don't need his shiny vampireness coming along and ruining the awesomeness that is, Batman. I'm just
What else
saying.
has he been in, though? Like, outside of Twilight, what other movies has he been in?
I'm looking right now here. He was in Harry Potter. He was Cedric Diggory. Pretty much everything else, like kind of unknown stuff, like Queen of the Desert, Map of the Stars, Lost City of Z, Damsel. Yeah, like mostly unknown films.
He was in Lost City of Z?
Yeah.
Wow, that was recent. How the Mighty Have Fallen.
Yeah, he was Henry Costin. And then he played Queen of the Desert. He was T.A. Lawrence. It was T.E. Lawrence.
Really?
Yep.
And Mecca, Gorgonite, the thing to understand is it's called whenever at a buddy's house and he was watching the rip track of the first Twilight movie. That's how I know.
It's all right. We just have less respect for you now. That's all.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I really don't.
Well,
I have less respect for myself because the fact that I remembered it.
Yeah, well, I heard a lot of buzz. A lot of people were talking about, that they were talking about casting someone from Britain as Batman.
You mean Christian Bale?
Christian Bale's not English.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. He's actually
He's
Australian.
Oh, well. I thought he was English. Huh.
no, he just puts on an accent all the time. So whatever role he takes, he maintains the accent because
Technically, he's both.
Yeah, but he just maintains the accent. So it's easy to forget that what his actual accent is because you very rarely hear him speak it.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, if they can bring him back for Batman, that would be freaking cool.
No.
He's only willing to come back if Nolan comes back. That's the only way he's willing to come back.
Which means he's not willing to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
because
be honest.
Nolan's out.
Besides, the Dark Knight Rises to me was like the third one. The third one was the one that were just like I just did not buy that film at all. Bane should have never been the villain in that film.
I loved Bane. It was amazing.
All I got to say about that movie is it's like I walked out of the movie theater like I had just walked out of watching X-Men Origins Wolverine. And
So I'm the only one who liked the movie then? That's awesome.
No, I loved that movie.
Okay,
was
I'm not
great.
alone.
Bane was amazing. He made the movie what it was. Though his costume was a little weird. I still think it was awesome.
Could you imagine Tom Hardy playing Batman?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Tom Hardy's a good actor.
Oh, I know he is. I know, that's what I'm saying. I think that would be kind of a an interesting take. The guy who played Bane is now Batman.
That would be fun.
Now, speaking,
He's short though. He's like 5'7", right?
I think so. Yeah.
Really?
He's like my height. So
Yeah.
they're gonna have
Oh
to do
yeah,
some
sweet.
tricks.
but
Oh, that's movie cinema. They've got it. If they can get Tom Hardy to be Batman, that'd be cool.
no, I still stand by, like, when it comes to Tom Hardy. Don't get me wrong, he did a pretty good Eddie Brock. I would be lying if I said he didn't. All right, but I stand by. There's only one person I would that I say would believably pull off that role, and that, I'm sorry, is John Cena. Actually,
You think John Cena would be good Batman?
Eddie Brock.
Oh, Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock.
No, John Cena's too much of a goofball.
Yeah,
But
he's
he
too much of a goof. He's too much of a goofball. Although he did a really good job in Bumblebee, but it's a military role. So hey, how not much silliness he needs to do because he can act that stern role. But I think, yeah.
Well, my whole point is he looks like him. Like when they first
Oh,
had.
I don't know. You need somebody with like really dark hair.
No, Eddie
Batman
Brock
has. Oh, we're talking about Eddie Brock again. Sorry, I keep thinking of Batman. I keep thinking we're
John
talking
Cena,
about.
not John Cena for Batman. John Cena for Eddie Brock.
Oh, hey.
If he could keep it, if he could be more serious and like pissed off, I don't know. I don't think he can play the angry guy very well. Because Eddie Brock was kind of an angry guy.
Yeah, he was. He was. Canales is in the chat, guys.
Oh, hey, Canales.
I was actually like, too bad we can't get him a link. Get him in the.
Yeah.
Because Twitter has to be an asshole and Ren has to be a fucking bitch. Like, we don't snitch on your sock puppet accounts. Why are you snitching on Canales' backup?
Well, they took out his other one too, just his new one.
His Canales Appreciation Society.
Yep.
I saw that.
Yeah, they even took out the yeah. So then there was like the Canales hot. I think there was a Canales hot secretary or something like that. They took that one out.
Yeah, and like I was actually going to tag him in the return of, Meeting of the Mind, see if he wanted to come on as well and whatnot. And it's like, why does Twitter have to suck so much?
Oh, well, see if he'll. I was gonna say I was trying to think of a way we could do it.
Facebook.
Yeah.
If you have him on your Facebook.
I do believe I do.
Well then, shoot that man a link. It is on you, Spark Man.
Yeah, give me a second here.
You're our only hope.
Did you see that Star Wars thing that they did?
Oh no!
Short...
The one where Princess Leia just kicks Chewie in the balls and smacks Luke in the face.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! My dismay.
The guy who did the storyboards was actually talking to me on Twitter, and he says that at least when he boarded it, it wasn't like that. Like that wasn't the tone that it had. So it got changed at some point during the animation to make it more spiteful.
Face. This is my surprised face. Just saying. Gorgonite Emissary, why does Twitter suck so much? Do you want this stream to last a week in order to answer that?
Yes.
I'm just saying. And like, the thing I find funny is did any of y'all catch the Tim Pool Joe Rogan?
I watched part of it. I haven't watched all of it yet. I was making my way through, but I needed to work on videos.
Understandable. Well, let's just say, like, he has this whole bit where he goes into, like, how the only reason why Twitter is still around is because of the fact that it's a journalist site and this, that, and the other, and that's why stories stay insular, and it just, you know,
Yeah, I
eh,
saw that part. He made a valid point that's very disturbing
was
from
like,
a media perspective, that they're basically citing and sourcing each other instead of doing their job as journalists and contacting the parties involved.
yep. Well, I see this journalist said it was how it is, so I'm just going to cite them. And so if they're wrong, nah, who cares? Nobody's going to cite us anyway. 3 weeks later, how did the story get so big? They were just kids smirking. Okay, we get it. We don't want to get sued.
Well, they're acting like bloggers. I mean, like if you're writing a blog and you don't have any, journalist credentials, you probably can't get access to a lot of stuff. So if you want to find out what's going on, you're going to have to cite articles that are put out there. That's what a blogger would do. But you wouldn't go to one place. You check like 4 or 5 different places to try to get as many versions of the story as possible, so you can actually start to piece together what happened. These people aren't doing that. It's like, oh, my friend tweeted about this. Okay, well, then I'll write something up too. But who did you cite? You're citing your friend. Well, who did they cite? Oh, they were citing some other person that they know. So they're all going back to each other. And it's like, why don't you just contact the people involved in the damn story?
Well, like Tim put it, it's that never-ending game of telephone where you're constantly just regurgitating the same shit just from different perspectives, and it's like no one has taken the time to find out if that's actually what's going on or if that's just the talking point of the day.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, a lot of what you've been hearing from people is just the standard talking point rhetoric, buzzwords, and this, that, and the other. And when you actually get down to what they're trying to tell you, if they were to cut all that extra shit out and just give you the fact that it had been pretty much Trump did this, doesn't really have any effect on us. We're at this point, we're just bitching to bitch, you know, whoop de bam, whoop de bam. It would be literally 4 or 5 lines long, and they wouldn't be able to grandstand if
Well,
they
they're
did.
all talking heads now. It's like if you watch any of the shows,
Oh yeah,
they're all talking heads, and they're so overt in their political nonsense, that their propaganda, that I mean, I used to watch MSNBC. Like, I can't stand it anymore. Like, CNN was a lost cause like for a decade, so there's no point
that
Mhm.
even pretending that it's worth anything. So now, just to have some news on in the background, it's on Fox. It's on fucking Fox News. That is what I'm reduced to,
because
because they are less crazy than the Nimrods on the other two networks. Oh
yeah,
my god.
and remember
Fox.
back when it was Obama as president, right? Fox News is the one constantly ripping on Obama. And now, I won't be the first one to say that Obama was constantly screwing up. He did have a lot of areas where he was. He had a lot of areas I disagreed with him and was going, "What, are you stupid?" But I didn't agree with Fox News constantly coming down on him. And now you have the other news outlets that constantly bitched about the fact that Fox News is coming down on Obama, coming down on Trump. And it's where, at least with Fox News, they tried to make it at least sound rational. These other, they don't even care. They're just straight orange man bad.
Yeah. Well,
And
where there was the release of that what do you call it? The committee thing that they did, where they found out. Oh, well, they decided after their evidentiary uh, investigation that, oh, there's no collusion. They couldn't find any. So now the Senate and the House have both found the same thing. There's no collusion. When you turn on Fox, they're saying that. You turn on CNN and MSNBC, you're never going to find that out.
you're just going to keep hearing orange man bad.
Yeah, it's like
And then
two different investigative bodies found the same thing. Nothing. You don't want to admit that maybe there's something wrong with your claim that he's colluding. Like, he can't be like a super genius. That's
stupid
just
at the
like,
same time.
right. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense. He cannot be the dumbest human on the face of the planet, who's so petty that if you say some shit about him at 2 o'clock in the morning later that day, he's on a toilet tweeting about the shit, which is what he does. and then turn around and say he's like a criminal mastermind. No one can find any evidence of this obvious collusion that you somehow know about, even though he's so good at covering it up. How?
I know.
How?
I know. Believe me, I've been wondering the same thing for a while now. It's like, when did these idiots think it was a good idea to start actually, interjecting their opinions into different things? Because quite frankly, as far as I can tell, since they started doing it, things have it's how to put it. I'm going to cite Tim Pool here again, where he's like, if you just shut off the damn internet, shut off your computer, go outside, hang out with your friends and whatnot, you'll find out the world's not really that scary of a place. But the minute you listen to mainstream news, they got you immediately thinking that the world's going to end tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Well, Fox started this nonsense
They
because
did.
they were making it the ratings thing. It was basically they were just trying to make up for the fact that there wasn't a lot of conservative media. But
Yeah.
they got insane numbers from it. Like it's one conservative national media outlet, and they were getting 3 times the numbers of everybody else. And so eventually the other networks are going to have to join in and try to get some of this. And that's what's happened is that it's all about ratings. It's all about how many people can you get to watch your show. And
Mhm.
MSNBC was smart about it, where it was like, okay, we're going to have a handful of people who do this, and then the rest is going to be hard news. So then you had like your Keith Overman, he was like their hardcore far to the left. And then they had a couple of people who were like middle grounders. And then the rest was all news. And then CNN was CNN. And then they just decided once Trump announced that he was running, like, no, fuck it, we're all going to be just uber political.
Oh, yeah. Well, the other thing about, for instance, the whole big issue with like Fox News is, all right, part of the reason why people are watching a conservative news outlet is it's been proven that first, the two groups of people that will tweet, retweet, and talk about news the most is the far left and conservatives. But the problem is where the far left constantly accuses the conservatives of being, following fake news and whatnot. It's actually the far left themselves that follow the fake news because they cite things like Occupy Democrats, Occupy Wall Street, things like that. Various far left sources that are not heavily vetted, where conservatives, because of the fact that, let's be honest, you can't be a conservative and not like there's a larger burden of proof on you if you're a conservative than if you're a liberal, let's just be honest. So they have to make sure that they're correct before talking about it. And because of that, you have a situation that is, of course, they're coming with fake news, not realizing it's fake news. And CNN will cite these off articles that are not properly vetted because they're quick to try to grab that story. Take, for instance, BuzzFeed and what happened with the Mueller investigation, how they're like, oh, well, this is what we got from them, la da da da, and then come to find out that that's not what the Mueller investigation had said. That's nothing even remotely involved with the Mueller investigation.
But you have to just marvel at the fact that all the people who were so willing to report this BuzzFeed report
Mm-hmm.
didn't bother to call Mueller's office for a comment. If
Yep.
you had called his office for a comment, you'd have found out it was bullshit. That's all you had to do was your job as a journalist. Pick up the fucking phone and talk to the people involved. No, we don't want to do that. So then his office has to issue a statement going, actually, that's not what happened. And they're like, oh, wait, you mean it's not true? Yes, it's not true. It fits my narrative. Yeah, but it's wrong. And that they were so hesitant to admit that they were wrong. It's like, well, we have
Well,
found out now that it was some discrepancies there. Yeah, that you reported. So you
actually,
have to like walk it back. You have to admit you fucked up.
if I remember right, BuzzFeed is yet to actually pull a retraction. They've doubled and tripled down on it.
Oh, yeah, well, they're gonna do that. It's BuzzFeed. What do you expect?
Oh
For
yeah.
sure.
I mean, come on. When you have to rely on selling two different brands of cookware in Walmart, your company's in trouble. I'm just saying.
Well, then also run a smear campaign against along with the New York Times, of a very well known person from China.
Oh yeah. Well, and then you also have the fact that to top off the news, the fact that most of the country, according to recent Pew research, most of the country wants to go further to the right. All right, so far left, except for the far left. The far left wants to go further left. Everyone else wants the country to go further to the right. You know what I mean?
No, they
This
want to stay in the middle, is what it is. That's why I've always said this country hates, politically wise, it hates swinging either way too far.
Yeah.
Which is why you get when one way, like, every generation is kind of like an answer. You look at the 50s and 60s. What was the answer to the 60s and 70s, the 80s and 90s, where we're a little bit more conservative, and then they flip back here. Now this is the answer to that generation. The country hates swinging, so tries to swing the way into the middle itself again. But the problem is the pendulum swings the other way.
Oh yeah, and I am going to kind of agree with Dust Quill on this. Need to get it back to comics and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's not meeting the minds unless we go off into current events and whatnot a little bit. But
Hey, speaking of comics, did you guys see? What do you guys think about the Three Jokers movie?
Yeah, we got to get a little with Pancho.
Whoa!
Whoa, Ninja!
You got attacked by the reticuloids and the soy.
Are we talking about the one with Joaquin Phoenix?
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I roboting again?
You are totally robotic again.
We're talking about the Joaquin Phoenix one?
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything until I see it.
That's how I feel.
It might actually be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I'm not holding my breath. I'm really not. I'm hoping it's good, but let's be honest. Like I said, at the rate things have gone, the way the comic book movies, I guess you'd say industry, is trying to follow the comic book industry. I'm just I'm expecting some poor writing. And let's hope, like, Shazam is my only hope. Shazam is my Obi-Wan right now.
The way I look at it is, why do we need what is it with that we constantly have to have? And don't get me wrong, I love Superman and I love Batman. Why do we have to constantly keep having those two? There are so many other great heroes. Female, like Black Canary. I would love to have a great Black Canary and Green Arrow film.
Well, I don't even know if they're going to be willing to do that because they've got them on the shows, and that's another way that Warner Brothers just kind of screwed themselves, because they built up these shows, and then they want to do movies. Are you going to recast the characters for the films, and then make it completely confusing while you have them on TV too? Because that's going to be your draw. Like what they did with the Flash was like, that was a mistake. You should have got the dude from the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gus and Grant is a great Flash too, so.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like if you're gonna use Barry Allen, get the guy from the show. Otherwise, just call him Jay Garrick or Wally West and call it a day. And
Actually,
then you can get around it. And I know that they've got the black version of Wally. That's not Wally West. It's just a black dude wearing his costume.
it did palette swap, like I was talking about with
Yeah.
Morales and Ben Reilly. No, here's what I find funny. Okay, they can get away with having the two different bits, and if they really wanted to capitalize on them having both the series and TV show, they do an Elseworld event, like Elseworld movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And they use the actors from the series as playing those versions of their characters
In the film. Yeah, I would love to see something like that. That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like at that point, they could be like, "Oh, wait, you thought we were just doing Elseworlds on the TV show? No, we're about to show you how awesome Elseworlds can really be," and just while out. I mean, it could be one of those bits that had they managed to hold on to like Ben Affleck and things like that, hold on to everyone long enough to do they either have to do Flashpoint Paradox now to fix the fact that Ben Affleck's leaving, possibly Henry Cavill is leaving, things like that, or they do a Elseworld movie and ask those guys to return just for one more movie, and then have it to be at the end of the movie. It's the rebooted version, and the rest, and the rebooted version, they're trying to prevent the catastrophe from spreading over into their world.
You know what you could do? You could either do Convergence with Grant Morrison's run, or you could do. Do you guys remember the one with the the Monitor and Anti Monitor,
And
and where
Crisis
Donna
on
Troy,
Infinite Earths.
yeah, where Donna Troy was the the Avatar. You could do that, and that because those had all those multiple Superman, Batman, and characters and everything.
I think you're risking making it more confusing than it needs to be. Um, I think the simplest way to handle it is if you're going to have the separate universes, don't have any similar characters, right? So like them doing Superman for the TV show for Supergirl and having the movie, you could kind of understand why that would happen because people understand Cavill is not going to appear in the TV show, right? He's too big for that now. So he might not be willing to do that. You could have had a cameo, but they were trying to keep the universes separate. That was on their end. But if you're going to do that, then make the characters different enough so that people know right from the start what they're getting. That's and like keep them separate and then do a crossover film where you can have them interact. And that would be like your way out of it. But you either keep it completely separate or you just make it part of the same continuity and just call it a day. And then just don't use certain characters in the films until you really need them.
That's another way of doing it, but that's more of the Marvel way of doing it. This is a way that they could do it and have it be their own. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason why I say that is because it's easier for an audience to figure out what's going on. Like them creating the multiple universes. I think people were fine with the Arrowverse and then Supergirl having her own universe, and they did the same thing with Black Lightning. That's separate too. And it's like now but they're all on the same network, right? So you're naturally going to assume they exist in the same world. And
Yeah.
now you've got three different worlds that are in the same, on the same network. That's confusing.
Yeah.
I know people don't think like folks are that dumb, but you have to remember these are people who needed to have the most basic plots explained to them, right? The Matrix was confusing people because it was just so hard to understand, even though Morpheus literally tells you three different times what the Matrix is, and then twice says, "But of course, you can't be told what the Matrix is," after he tells you. And they still didn't get it. So
Hmm.
this is what it is like, make it so easy no one can be confused.
Yeah. Well, my big whole, like I said, that's my big fix. Like, your points are solid. I'm just saying that that was one way. Your way would work. There's so many different ways that they could approach this, and who's to say that they won't? Who's to say that they won't just reach that point where they're like, okay, we have an untapped resource for the movies that we can use that Marvel doesn't have. We have a TV series universe, and they could sit there and go, you know what? Instead of Flashpoint Paradox, it's now the TV shows are now the same characters in the movies, and I think they could probably work with that actually,
Yeah.
like and just make it to where it's just the what we see going on in the TV shows is one thing, and then the big events they do movies for, where you go to the actual theater and things like that. Like, there's multiple ways that they could do it.
My
It's
only
just
thing is, I don't want to see what's her name is Supergirl. The first season I was okay with her, but yeah, not now. I'm done. I'm over Supergirl. Matter of
think
fact,
we
actually, I'm
all
over all of them. They kind of.
like I think we all are. Let's just be honest. Like I haven't bothered to watch any of the movies since I'd say the last one I saw actually was season 4 of Arrow. Like it's halfway through season, not even halfway, like a quarter way through season 4 and a quarter way through season 2 of uh The Flash. Never even made it through Supergirl. Like I saw the first episode, went to see the second, and was like, "Well, I'm already bored with this." Go figure. Like And which is sad because the first episode of Supergirl really set up the character well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, maybe it wasn't. Maybe I saw the second episode, but like it was. It didn't. I didn't get many episodes into Supergirl. It's like I can't help but feel like it was a missed opportunity. They just didn't get the right writers and the right people to really pull you in and make you want to continue to watch the show.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Okay.
Where, like Arrow, you had reasons to keep watching it up until like season 4. After season 4, it just felt like they were just constantly pulling the same thing from the first 3 seasons without any like moving forward. And that's like the big thing that kind of felt like a cheat with the Flash. Pretty much the same story the first season. Basically a speedster that's gone rogue. Oh, yay. Can we please have some of the other rogues galleries be a threat? Like, they could have had, what was the Captain Cold and all them that joined together to take on the Flash? I can't remember the name of that group. Quote unquote, but like...
The Rogues Gallery.
Thank you, Rogues Gallery. They could have done that and like introduce the rogues over the different seasons, and then have like season 3 or 4, maybe even 5, be the Rogues Gallery, them all teaming up, and you'd still see them throughout because they're common Flash rogues. Like, I feel like it was a missed opportunity. They tried to, I guess they put too much emphasis on the meta-humans and not, hey, let's just have a superhero story where he's fighting his rogues who just so happen to be meta-humans. I think I might be
Well, most of those guys weren't really meta-humans. They just had fancy gadgets, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought, but...
I mean, eventually Lex Luthor did give them, like, superpowers or some crap.
Yeah, but, like, the way they did Weatherman, where instead in the comic it was dude just using the rod.
You mean Weather Wizard?
Weather Wizard, thank you. I'm bad with names, and I was never a big Flash. No, I was never a big Flash fan. I would be lying if I said it was. It was all about Batman, Superman, bit of Wonder Woman, and then the rest was Marvel. Until Marvel decided to just suck.
Have you guys watched by any chance, have you guys watched the new Young Justice?
No, I have not.
I saw an episode or 2 with Pope Fire on one of her Rabbit streams that she's did. It was pretty good, actually. The animation's spot on, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've been doing a pretty decent job. There's been couple elements, in there, that you could tell they're kind of shoving it in there, but it's been a pretty good season. I really think Cartoon Network screwed the pooch on canceling Young Justice.
Well, we all know that. Just like they screwed the pooch on canceling Titans.
Oh yeah, the original Titans show, or the Teen Titans show.
Yeah.
Yeah, why was that so daggum good? So I'm not going to lie, Teen Titans Go is pretty funny.
No.
Well, you don't have kids, so, I mean, if you got little kids that want to sit and watch a cartoon, I mean, my littlest one loves Teen Titans. The Teen Titans Go, I should say. But they all, they've all gotten an affinity for the Teen Titans now. And when they did Cartoon Network did put on the older series for a little while there, and yeah, I think everybody's kind of missing it now. The Teen Titans original cartoon.
You saw the last movie, right?
I didn't watch the movie. No, I didn't get a chance yet.
They actually teased at the very end the credit thing. They teased something in there with the original Teen Titans.
Oh, for real?
Yep.
Well, if they bring that back, they're only going to make money.
Oh, they're going to make a lot of money.
Well, I think what it will do is it'll go right to in all intents and purposes, it'll probably go right to the DC Universe channel, if anything. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. They have that stupid streaming network now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. the DC animated, other than the Bruce Timm shows and like most of Teen Titans up until they decided to cancel it, they had smart people in charge of it. Let's be honest, and like you said, that was Cartoon Network. You know, that was their screw up, but that was because Cartoon Network didn't realize, hey, just because girls are liking a show that you think is quote unquote for boys does not mean that you cancel it. That just means cater your marketing a little bit to accommodate.
What I find amazing is that there's two shows that they have. So they have the DC Superhero Girls, not the relaunch that they're redoing, but the current animation version, which is really good. They've been doing a really good job with those stories, and then they have Young Justice. So now they're going to turn around and they're going to relaunch. They're going to relaunch. DC Superhero Girls, change the animation and everything, where everybody looks a lot younger and it looks all wonky and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know what it is with Cartoon Network, just does not. And don't even get me started on the Justice League action.
I know. No, it just goes to show that, like, for instance, if you look at a lot of the, I guess you could say, shows that Cartoon Network was constantly made money on. All right, take Metalocalypse. Okay, they canceled the show even though it was still garnering good ratings, even when they ended it. It was like, why?
Yeah.
If you're still getting the ratings, why cancel the show? And they've done it with that. Oh man, they let the Boondocks go somewhere else. Well, mind you, after season 3. Okay, I gotta ask, am I the only person that classifies Boondocks only being 3 seasons, and the 4th season is a horrible abomination that we do not speak of?
I haven't been watching it, so I can't say.
Yeah, I don't watch it either. What about you, Chris?
I never really got into it. I like the comic, but I watched the first season and I thought it was okay. It changed the tone of it, so I didn't care for it anymore. The comic is actually more satirical, and the show is more parody. There's some good moments. There's some nice animation in there. I think LaShawn Thomas's storyboards are really good, but after a while, I just got kind of tired of the show.
Well, that makes me sad because I love that show. I thought it was a great, like, it had a lot of really good laughs and whatnot. But basically the 4th season, it'd be like if you had a Justice League or Superman the Animated Series or Batman the Animated Series without Bruce Timm and Dini helming it and it being the same art style and everything. It's supposed to be the same group of people, like same actors, everything, but you don't have them helming. Does that make sense?
Well, didn't he go to do his Jesus show that didn't quite catch on as much as he wanted it to? That was why Aaron McGruder left to do that, and that was why so much of the team was gone.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that, and he also wanted to get his Uncle Ruckus live-action movie made.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
No, we knew that wasn't going to happen. Like, I'd be lying if I said I thought that movie was going to happen.
Yeah, I think now if you tried to do Boondocks, it would probably get slammed for being racist. And that's, it's not even that long ago, and he probably wouldn't be able to get that show made.
Right. Well, I liked it. I guess I'm the odd man out on that one. You were the odd man out with Batman Dark Knight Rises. I'm the odd man out with the Boondocks. I'll take it.
It's all right.
And
you've got to be willing to push the SJW narrative if you're going to be on Cartoon Network now.
Right, pretty much. But Duskquill did ask a very good question. What do y'all think of the Marvel Cat variant covers?
Those are stupid.
At some point, I think they're funny, but at the same point, why?
So my understanding is that this is for the tie-in to the Captain Marvel movie because Captain Marvel has a cat.
Yeah.
So what makes you think a bunch of cat ladies are buying comic books?
Right?
That's your first problem, right? Your second problem is your primary audience, no matter what group it is that you're claiming you appeal to, they're not buying variants because it's got cats on it. So
At this point,
who,
they're not buying variants at all, really.
right? So it's like, who are you selling this to? Who's supposed to buy this? Who is this for? This is them doing an in joke. That's what that is. It is an in joke to entertain themselves. It has nothing to do with an actual marketing plan. There's no marketing here. There's no tie-in here. This is
Hmm.
a stupid in joke between the higher ups at Marvel because they think this will be cute. And it's like, dude, you are trying to sell a comic book and you want certain people to buy these books. That's not going to sell the book. It's not going to make people want to read those comics. You have got to be smarter than this.
If anything's going to make people look at you, think maybe we just want to spend our money elsewhere, which is fine. Peter could use the sales. I mean, especially after being swatted. I'm just saying. He
Yeah,
could
that,
use the sales.
and I haven't even weighed in on that. I mean, that is some really, excuse my French. I try to refrain from swearing, but that is some fucked up shit. Some major fucked up shit. How can you go? I don't care, and I probably, first off, to swat one of the most nicest guys in the world, just for whatever reason, either your project got turned down or because you hate his you don't like it, you got some sort of rhetoric he doesn't toe the line and stuff like that. Whatever it is, how can you do it? I just don't get it. It's fucking stupid. It's insane. And over comic books. Yeah. I think that's.
I don't. No. We are all in agreement with you. This
Oh
is
yeah.
like what happened to Peter Simonetti, and like it's funny because they always sit there. What's the thing that these far left ideologues all like to constantly bring up? Oh well, you dox us, you this, you that. Oh woe is me, woe is me. The mad doxers are back, and yet every time someone actually ends up getting doxed, swatted, something of that nature, it's always coming from their camp. Yet we're the evil bastards that are doing it.
Well, I'll agree with Peter that we don't know who's done it yet. I'll give him that. But I mean, there's a certain group of people who've been attacking this man for months. It's more likely than not going to come from the people who have been attacking him for months than it is from anyone else. Now, whether it's an actual comic book pro or maybe someone he's worked with or used to work with, or maybe it's someone involved with, like maybe follow some of these people. I don't know, but this is the MO of the far left. This is what they do. So I'm just not that inclined to think that it's somebody that's not associated with the people who've been hating on him for months.
Mhm.
And to do something like this to this guy because he thanked people for buying his books and he won't disassociate from people. You said they've got the cooties so you can't talk to them. He won't do that. So you're going to treat him like garbage and try to ruin his business and claim that the guy who completely looks Asian every time you see him is a white nationalist. Like, are you kidding
Yes.
me? If he looked any more Asian, I mean, it caused like a temporal rift. I
Uh,
mean,
Mhm.
he says he's half Italian. I don't believe him. He is 100% Asian.
Well, he actually has. I think his father is Italian and his mother is Asian. So generally, what tends to happen in an Asian woman and a white male, the sons usually turn out to look more Asian.
All I know is, I mean, he clearly is not all white.
Yeah.
There's no way you can look at that man's picture and say, so to accuse this man of being a white supremacist makes no sense. Then when you find out that the white group he belongs to are Italians, white supremacists don't think that highly of Italians either. So it's like, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
Insult himself each time he starts saying like anti-Asian slurs and then remembers that he's Italian and go, oh, wait a minute, let me say some anti-Italian slurs and like English
That's right.
accent or something. Like, it
Yeah.
makes no
Yeah.
sense.
It doesn't.
Darn Italians.
Hey, back off there, bro. Back off there, bro.
You know, you know, I
But
was
what
about to
really
go.
disgusted me though was that these pros, for the most part, wouldn't say anything. Donnie Cates was the first one to really come out and say anything, but after a while, a few of them did, and then folks like Tim Doyle come out and go, "Well, he's faking it." Yeah, he faked it on a live stream that he put to private, so that I mean, there are people who could hear this going on. So
Mm-hmm.
what did he do? Pay someone to come to his door and pretend to be the cops? Like, are you kidding me? And then Tim Doyle is supposedly claiming that, well, I checked the records. So you doxed him because he didn't give his information out. So how do you know where he lives?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
You had to dox him to find that out. So now, who do you think I'm looking at?
Uh-huh.
Jigglypuff. Like, come on,
Baby
man.
bones.
Bones. Yep.
And then you turn around and you watch all these other people who are sitting there saying, "Well, this is unacceptable." It's unacceptable, but you're the ones riling up people to do it.
Mm-hmm.
No one else is doing this. Everyone else is like, "Look, don't contact these people, don't talk to these people, leave them alone, but you can, critique their comics." You're the guys who are like run them off the internet,
Mm-hmm.
ruin their lives. So what do you think is going to happen if you keep saying things like this? And we're in a culture where when someone says, "Go punch a Nazi," people think that the appropriate response for seeing a 16-year-old white kid smiling at a Native American while wearing a MAGA hat is to say that they want to punch him in the face or punch him in the balls or kill him. I mean, this is what we're doing, and sending death threats and bomb threats to a high school because of this. This is how fast this happens. This is the level that it escalates to within 12 hours. All that happened. It took 12 hours for that to go down. And you think that this couldn't possibly lead somebody to try to do something to Peter Simeti or anyone else? There's a reason why people use avatars and don't use their real names and don't put their face. Like, that's why people do that, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what you people do. This is how outlandish you are, how you go after people. That's dangerous. So
And,
what if the cops hadn't listened to him? What if they didn't believe him and had shot him or killed
right.
him? Then what?
That's
Right?
attempted murder at that point.
No,
Well,
it is
yeah,
murder.
Oh,
it
yeah,
is
that's just
murder.
straight up
It
You're
murder.
is
using
murder.
the cops to kill somebody. That's what
Yeah,
you're doing.
Yeah.
it's considered a felony now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, good.
I mean, but that's insane that it's gotten to that point all because someone said, "I didn't like your comic book and I'm gonna make fun of it." Right? Something that nobody has a problem with. There's this channel, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, called Cinema Sins, where
Mm-hmm.
the entire point is for the guy to sit there and make fun of movies, including movies he likes. If you watch the one he does with John Wick, he's like, "I like the movie, but I'm still gonna talk about it." Like, that's what's happening, and you're mad, so you're gonna go and you're gonna do stuff like, come on.
Oh no, and it's funny because Mecca, or not Mecca, but Gorgonite Emissary made a very valid point. He said, "Guess just some guy didn't get the memo that ideologues confirmed white supremacy is a social construct, that anyone can be a white supremacist now."
Well, I mean, heck, they're accusing somebody who's full Asian, Timothy Lim, as being a white supremacist. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
you know,
just mind-boggling. Like, do you see what this person looks like?
Right.
And how? Why would
It's all because of
why?
that Dave Chappelle skit.
You know what's really funny is no one has said anything to me. I have somehow managed to skirt any of these people saying or doing anything to me. They will not come near me. I don't know if it's because I managed to punk Ron Mars and Kwanzaa and Fufu, but for whatever reason, they just will not come anywhere near me saying anything to me. So I don't know if I just told them I'm black too many times, or if it's obvious that if you come at me, I'm gonna fucking devastate you. But I don't know what it is. But they will not say anything to me. They will go after that umbrella guy. They'll go after Captain Frugal. They'll go after Douglas Ernst. It's like, the nicest guys you can imagine. They'll go after them. You ain't gonna say nothing to me. Okay.
Are
Mhm.
you surprised? They go for the ones that they believe it's easy targets,
Because
especially
you're just some guy.
Yeah, it would be kind of embarrassing. Like, oh, who did you take out? Oh, just some guy. Like it doesn't have that power of like I took out diversity in comics. Got him, Cat and Cummings. Who'd you get? Just some guy. It just doesn't work. That's why I chose the name because it gives you nothing to work with, right? It's like
Yep.
who do you think you are? Just some guy. There you go. So I want to go to C2E2 just to see who of these morons will be there, because I know at some point they're gonna bring this stuff up there. So I'd
Hmm.
like to be there and just be in their face. I want Mark Waid to be there. I want Mark Waid to come to Chicago to C2E2 to have his table, so I can go up to him and say, "Hey, look, man, um, I'm kind of disappointed in you. I used to be a very big fan. I'm not anymore, but I would like to thank you for making me so much money because your videos give me so much material, Precious. Yes, it does, Precious. Every time, Precious. It's so awesome. Say more stuff. I want to do it
Yes.
to his face. Do it to his face. It's like, who are you? Oh, we're just some guys, Precious. That's it. Just
Yes.
that's
well.
what I want to do. I want to do it to his because I've heard from like several different people now that he's heard the videos and doesn't like them. It's like, okay, all right. This is the only voice I can do other than the Southern gentleman voice. You have to understand. So I'm gonna milk it for all it's worth. So I'm totally gonna do the voice. I want you to see it in person, just so I can, just so I can have the interaction. Because he's such an ass that there's nothing redeemable about that when you're going after people the way that he does.
Oh,
No,
dude,
yeah,
dude, no, no. It's like I've seen when you go after people. I think we all have. That's like part of the reason why I love your channel is because you go after people. It's like, let's see, the Richard Mayer, Jim Jeffries show incident. You went hard there. The Black Panther video, you went hard. Border Town, you went hard. And do you see a trend here? No, no wonder he was all butthurt about it. Because when you go hard, you go hard. You don't pull your punches. And Mark, let's be honest, Mark Wade, if he picks on people who are easy targets.
yeah.
You're not an easy target, and he knows it.
Yeah, I don't do well with bullies. Even my current boss has found that out. He's crossed me a couple of times, and he's found out you don't intimidate me, so you can stop it. You can talk to me like a normal person. We'll have a conversation. You try to get in my face.
Eh,
I know how tall I am. I know how short I am. Let me put it that way. I know how much I weigh, and I'm from Southside Chicago. So you do not frighten me at
right?
all. Period. Okay. By the
Uh,
way, that Jesse Smollett thing, I work near the area where that happens. Nobody would be caught dead wearing a MAGA hat in Streeterville. It's not gonna fucking happen. The man is lying.
oh no, no, no,
Oh,
wait.
I called that out right away too. I mean, there's a lot of people I was listening to said the same thing you did. That there's no way that anybody would wear a hat like that in that area.
No,
Well, and if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't live there. Isn't Chicago a predominantly African American city?
depends on where you go. So the city is still very segregated, which is just funny. So
Hmm.
if you take the main train line here that goes north and south, the red line, um, you can actually. I think someone did like a photo essay about this a few years ago, where he got on the train at 95th, which is all the way on the south, and he rode it all the way up to Howard, which is the furthest north that you can go on the red line. And you can actually do this. It's like if you start off on the south side, it's all black, and then when you get to about like 30, maybe 56, you'll start seeing maybe a couple of Hispanic people, a couple of white people. When you get to 35th, that's where the Comiskey Park, the White Sox stadium is. So you get more of a mix. It's ironically mostly Hispanic around there, at least when they get on the train at that area. But you do get a large white crowd coming there too. And then once you get towards like Cermak Chinatown, you get a couple of Asians getting there because Chinatown's right there. But that's also where the projects used to be. So in the Matrix, first Matrix film, and in the second one, there were the projects that Neo would go to visit the Oracle. Those were right across the expressway from Comiskey Park, the White Sox Stadium. Okay, so that's like a couple of blocks away from Chinatown, right? Then when you get to the downtown area, it's a mix. You go a little bit further north, that's where Streeterville is. It's mostly white. Then you go towards like say Fullerton and Belmont, it's mostly white. You go a little bit further north, it starts to get mixed again. Then you get around like Wilson, mostly black. And then there's this like run between Wilson and Howard where the stops are actually really close together. So if you were to get off the train and walk, you'd probably be able to like keep up with the train because it's going to be stopping that frequently. But it's like
Hmm.
Asian, 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 white, black, Asian, white, 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 black, Asian, Latino. What are you doing up this far north? It's like it's so bizarre, and that's just one train line. And there's like another bunch of them. We got the green line, the blue line, the pink line, the orange line, and the brown line and the purple line and yellow lines. Those and they go in different directions, but you get that kind of segregation. So the area that this happened in is just north of downtown. So I'm just trying to use references people would be able to figure out. If you watch The Dark Knight, where Batman is when the Joker's got everybody on the boats, that's basically the Chicago River.
Okay.
So if you go north on that building that Batman was standing on, where it looks like it's sort of like an old building. It's like white and everything. That's that's across the river from the Wrigley building. Okay, the black building that he was standing on top of, that's actually the Daily Center or the Daily Plaza, right? So that's a little bit further west. But basically, if you go towards what would be Michigan Avenue, where you would have all like your high-end shops and everything, that's kind of the loop, but also kind of Streeterville. But the moment that you get past that, when you get to basically where you get to where the water tower is, that technically counts as Streeterville. And then when you go west, you're going to get into Streeterville proper, where you'll actually see like high rises and some apartments and row houses. So where he's at, where he was walking, is like if you're going to go to Navy Pier, you would take Illinois. That was the street that he was on. That's where the subway is. And if you had just kept going towards the lake, you had gone right to Navy Pier. So there are cameras all over the place because it's a very expensive part of the city. It's like one of the most expensive neighborhoods in the city. Okay, so there's nothing but money over there. There are all these banks that are over there. Northwestern Hospital is over there. So it's like you have all these cameras everywhere. How are you not going to be seen, first of all? But then the other thing is that it was like 20 below.
Hmm.
So who the fuck is wearing a baseball cap in 20 below?
Yeah, I thought it was well, and on top of that, the MAGA country bit wasn't even in the original bit. And if I remember right, originally he said they were in ski masks, not wearing MAGA hats.
He was trying to amp it up, and he got ahead of himself. It's like if
Yep.
you wanted to pick a spot where this happened to you, you should have said it happened in Boys Town, because that would be believable at that time of night that somebody might have done something to you. Because even though Boys Town, which is one of the gay neighborhoods in the city, it's relatively safe during the day. At night, it can get wild because you have people who are drunk. There are tons of bars, and you have people who are high, and it's just a high theft area. So somebody decides that I don't want to give up my stuff. Like he just had to hold on to that sandwich for whatever reason. He just could not let go of that sandwich because he doesn't have a job where he can just go and buy another sandwich. He just had to
Eh,
hold on to it. If that's the case, then I would buy that. Like in Boys Town, I'd buy that. If you were further south, maybe in the loop when that happened, I'd buy it there, but not where he was. It makes
Hmm.
no sense. None.
oh no, I get it. I completely get it. That's why I was asking because I don't know Chicago, but that to one thing that did pop up though, because I think you're also into anime, right?
Yeah.
So one thing that was asked by Duskquill is Anime Gate we war on the table that seems to be getting some growth and it wants to start immediately out the gate with lawsuits and courtrooms from the gate.
Who are they suing?
So yeah, basically Vic Manola,
Pyramid.
and then there's like baby Jamie March, Monica Rial, and a lot of others want to go sue Vic, and vice versa, because they claim he Me Too movement.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about him, and from what I've seen is that apparently one of the accusers has basically lied and been caught in the lie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're still gonna pretend that it's true, even though they've been caught lying.
Well, yeah. See, the thing is, one of the reasons why I've stayed out of it is because I know Vic very personally, and I know Monica personally too. So I've kind of stayed out of it. I mean, yeah, I'll plead the fifth. Let's just say.
Yeah, I haven't followed it that closely. Um, I mean, I figured that eventually something like this would happen because every industry is being affected by it, and of course, once an accusation is out there, it doesn't really matter whether or not it's true. It's like, let's not bother to investigate it. Although that didn't happen with Eric Esquivel. He got accused, and for a week, they just sort of, not a week, but about 3 or 4 days, they just kind of sat on it because they weren't sure what to make of it. But,
Mm-hmm.
for some of these other folks, it's just the accusation comes out, and it's like, there goes your career. Doesn't matter whether it's true or not, just there it goes. Bye.
The thing is, someone like Vic and Monica, Vic doesn't have any power the way these people make him out to be. Yeah, he's very popular with a lot of people, but he has got no power. And these were people that were perfectly fine with him for 20 some years. I mean, they all worked together since I've been an anime fan, and I was an anime fan on VHS days. Because Nerd Over 30 was laughing when I was talking about that, because that's where I started watching anime. I was watching anime on VHSs.
Oh, so was I. I just gotten into it around that time, and then the DVD started coming out. And I didn't have a DVD player. My first DVD player was actually my PS2, and I didn't have any
Same
games
here.
for it, so I was just using it as a DVD player.
Yep. So and that's the thing is, so if he's this type of person now, I in knowing Vic, I could say that he isn't the greatest person sometimes to be around with, but other people have had fun. I think he can be an ass sometimes, but when you're popular, sometimes you get that way. Kind of goes to the head. But at the same point, never heard any charges of sexual misconduct with him. So, so that's where it's at, but the way it's going, I firmly believe the way Duskquill said, Japan may start pulling shit from American audiences. You already see it happening with the gaming industry that they're pulling stuff, going to start pulling stuff from PS4, at least from the American side.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them because this is getting to the point of being ridiculous. You're making them take out gaming dynamics from Dead or Alive because we're offended. Well, then don't buy the fucking game. You don't have to buy the game. Chances are you've never played the damn game.
But
What are
it's
you
got to be for
complaining about?
children.
The Japanese children are playing the same shit and they are not going around doing anything. What is your problem? I don't understand this. It's like it's such a nonsense argument, but they're getting to the point where they're censoring things and wanting things to be censored. And it's like, if that's the case, if I'm a Japanese company and I've got to go and reanimate a scene so that I can get it, to come out in American audiences, well, I'm not going to waste money because I'm not going to get that much money back.
Yep.
So it's just like there's no point in bringing it over there. And so what's going to end up happening? Ironically, the people who are pushing this, like Crunchyroll, they're going to find themselves obsolete because no one's going to go to them to get the shows because they're going to want the unedited version. So they're going to pirate it or buy it from Japan. They're not going to go to you. And so there goes your whole business model is just kaput because you want to go around and tell people what they can and can't show so that some, Tumblr feminist isn't offended.
And don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Also, don't forget that what they also might do is be like, well, you know what? We keep having problems with these companies who we license out there keep trying to tell us what to do with our product. How about we say fuck the middleman and just make our own platform over there for people to, watch these shows on and everything. And then when they complain, be like, we didn't tell you to watch it.
Well, I don't understand why they haven't done that anyway. I mean, I
I
signed up
know.
for the thing with Shonen Jump back in December, where that you get all the manga that they've ever put out. Well, not all of it, but a good chunk of it that they've put out in English, and then whatever's coming out weekly, you get access to. Like why did it take you almost 15 years to figure this out? If you don't want me to pirate the damn comic so that I can read it when it comes out and I don't have to wait a year and a half after Bleach has ended to find out what happened,
Mm-hmm.
then bring it out now. Because apparently, some college kid who barely knows Japanese can translate the shit in a night, but it takes you 14 months to do it. Come on. It doesn't
Well,
make any sense.
a lot of it is well, and I can tell you why. Because I'm kind of in. That's kind of where I'm kind of involved in big with the anime. That's kind of more my scene. So basically, the Japanese have a very aversion to um, bringing stuff for the most part over here. So they already have. How can I say this? So they have it when it comes to like releasing stuff media wise on the web and stuff like that. They're very slow to adapt because they rely on the digital or the paper market to do everything. Their print medium is a huge industry over there. So that's one of the reasons why it takes them so long to get stuff over here.
Oh, I know that. I know that part of it. I'm just saying that from the perspective of they're complaining about their product being affected because it
Yeah.
was. It's affecting their business. Okay, here's how you solve the problem. If you find that there's something that's really popular that people are pirating, port it over
Yeah, true.
immediately.
Yeah.
You cut out the reason for someone to steal it. Like when they started doing the simulcast, there you go. There's no reason for anyone to pirate it. You're simulcasting it. So if your dumbass doesn't know to get on there at 7 o'clock to watch it, this is like a regular TV show. Sucks to be you. You missed it. There you go. But it's like they offered it to you. So
Hmm.
you failed to get it. Now, if you're stealing it, you're a jackass. Whereas before, it's like, we want it. You won't bring it over, but I know where to get it. So what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and get it. Like cut out the middle, cut out the opportunity. If you know what people are gonna do and you know you can get it to them as quickly as possible, just get it to them. Like
You
they
see,
want.
like what I would do is, like, especially like when it comes to anime and stuff like that, you're in the middle of production. You should be right. To me, you should be hiring a translator at the time you're doing the production, and you translate it right away. And that way, it goes out. And I think they do that now with most of the stuff that goes on the Crunchyroll and stuff like that. I mean, it's already translated when it's out the door when it's being done.
Well, but it does when you have these shows come out on a weekly basis or on a monthly basis, whatever. It's usually translated the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, but if you know the language, like if I know a fair chunk of like Spanish, I can listen to a Spanish song and translate it. I don't need, months of however long it took them to write the damn song. It may have taken them 3 weeks to work on a song. I don't need 3 weeks to translate the damn thing. I can do it in a day. I can probably do it in a couple of hours, depending on how complicated it is. I might be able to do it in a couple of minutes.
That's sorry.
That's okay. I get what you're saying though. It's like it would make sense for them to have it ready to go,
Yeah.
but just from a business perspective, I think they've been screwing themselves over for so long that it's opened the opportunity for people like Crunchyroll.
To take advantage.
Yeah. And then of course, once they have this, everybody's going to them with the licensing, then you're not leaving yourself much room because they're going to be able to get that and do whatever they kind of want with it to, whatever the degree that the contract says. So if they have to edit it for the American market, then they can start editing it.
Yeah. The interesting thing is the two companies that still, American companies that still seem to do things right are Sentai Films and Nozumi Entertainment, because they only release, subtitled films and or subtitled series. Every once in a while they'll do a dub of something and stuff like that, but primarily subtitling is their subtitle shows are their bread and butter.
I just think that the business model that has been created is just begging for someone to take advantage of it, and that's what's happening. And they've put themselves in a very odd situation because what comes out in Japan, I mean, even by some loose American standards, it's like, wow. I mean, like when people are like, oh, what type of anime should I watch? Like, I will suggest certain shows, but Kill la Kill is not one of them. Because you see that as your first anime, and you're like, oh, is that what that is? I don't want to watch it. Like, you cannot watch that as your first show. It just won't
Which is
work.
funny because Ninja Scroll is one of my earliest animes watching.
And that's one that just
Ninja
blows
Scroll
your
is
mind.
best.
It blows your mind the first time that you see it. The ones that I was seeing was we had this like Japanimation show. That's what they were calling it back then. And they would show like the same 6 or 7 movies over and over again. So they would show Ninja Scroll, the Fatal Fury movie, the Street Fighter movie. I think it was Crimson Wolf,
Wings of
Green Legend Ran.
Yep.
Ron, and there was like one more.
Jinro.
No, I wasn't that one.
Oh,
there was another one.
Well, there was also Beautiful Dreamers, which was from from Yuriatsu.
No, it was something really kinky. It was like really
Demon Hunter Shinjuku, or are you talking about the Blue City?
Guyver.
No. I know it when I see it, but I cannot think of the name of it because it's been so long.
Speaking of Guyver, my best friend's down at Katsu right now. He's picking up for me. They released a female Figma figure of the Guyver from the original release of Guyver. When they did the 3-episode OVA.
Yeah,
he's picking that up for me because they released Guyver 2.
Those things are so expensive and they're so small. I thought they would be huge, but they're like 6 inches.
Yeah,
and they're like $70.
$65. We're splitting half and half, Kate. Because we get each other stuff for Christmas, and we usually buy a big gift and we split half and half, so that way. But hey, that's my one figure. But yeah, so those are the shows that I grew up watching. Well, a little bit earlier than that. I mean, Robotech and stuff like that. But I never really saw those as anime because that's really those were chopped up series from 3 different series.
Yeah, but we didn't know that then.
No, we didn't know that.
Yeah.
But then when I would consider one of my first official animes that I watched was Ghost in the Shell. That was one of the first VHSs I ever watched, and that I watched that. Ninja Scroll was so basically those were the first ones I watched before even watching anything else, and that stuck to me. When I saw, damn, they can have shows like this. What the fuck is our animation doing?
I know. Mine was the one I really liked was Armitage the Third.
Oh yes,
that was a fun one. And then I watched it a few years ago and then realized, wait a minute, the villains in the movie are feminists.
Yeah.
They're the ones in the movie. They're the villains. They've taken over Earth, which is why everybody's on Mars, and they're trying to kill Armitage because she can have babies. And like, you can't have a robot having babies. That makes us obsolete. Like,
hey, Canales. Hey, Canales, what's up, bro?
Hey, man. Sorry, it took me so long. I was on the phone talking to an insider, and we were laughing our asses off at the current state of the comic book industry. So, apologies for not being earlier here.
Oh, no worries. We understand.
So what were you guys talking about? Anime?
Yes.
Awesome. I just saw Battle Angel Alita on the theater.
Was it good?
It was. Yeah, I mean, it was okay, I guess, but there didn't seem to be a story, just stuff happening, and it was pretty to look at, and that was pretty much it. I mean, meh, but just meh.
They didn't base it off like any of the comic story at all.
A friend of mine told me that it's loosely based on the 1993 anime, I think, but I never saw it, so I can say.
Huh.
Which would have been the ADV version, which was not even adapted from manga. That was a completely like standalone story they made for it.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Uh,
I don't know, man. I'm seriously considering never going back to a movie theater again because it's fucking boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah, actually, I do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, I can't go to the movie theaters with multiple children anyway, because I miss half the movie because somebody's always got to pee.
See,
Yeah,
now if it
yeah,
had been me, you wouldn't have had that problem because I would hold it for the entire film. And I started doing that when I saw The Lion King because I had to walk out during the end of the movie, like when Rafiki's fighting. I just couldn't hold it anymore. And then after that, for until that movie that Liam Neeson did, that was like taken but wasn't taken. I think that was like came out like 2011. So like 90 what was that 94 till 2011. I never left the theater when I had to pee. I would stay there. I sat through all three Lord of the Rings movies. I sat through King Kong, and I sat through Inception when I had to
Ooh.
pee at the start of the movie, and then there was a waterfall scene 15 minutes into the movie.
you're like, oh shit!
Yes, yes, I was.
Well,
And at
I
the
must say,
end of the movie, it was even worse because it was the guy actually had to pee, and that was why it was raining. And it was all these slow motion shots of water, and my bladder just could not take it. I'm gonna have to either pee on myself or get up, but I'm not leaving this theater. So I guess I'm just gonna pee on myself because
I have that problem with Quentin Tarantino movies for some reason. I don't know why. I felt the urge to pee while watching Inglorious Bastards, and then again with The Hateful Eight. I don't know why. Quentin Tarantino, for some reason, kind of irritates my bladder.
Oh Lord, yes.
you gotta like try to go before the movie starts, and then hope that works. But it just does not work for me.
Well,
It just
it doesn't help that QT seems to like to make movies that are like 3 days long.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Lol.
it's a good enemy being listed in the chat there.
I was noticing that.
Yeah, some
Like,
good.
you could tell those who catch the meeting of the minds and also like anime. Because why not?
Of
Hashtag
course.
why not both?
Yep.
You know, you know.
Oh yeah, I see somebody saying Yu Yu Hakusho or Hakashi or however you pronounce it. That was a good one. Where he had that spirit gun or whatever it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking
Yeah, no,
loved that.
I mean, it's
Akira. That is my anime movie. Akira. It's a freaking great anime movie.
it's Samurai Champloo, Magical Shopping on the Boshi, Fully Cooley, Samurai Champloo, Cowboy Bebop, Hellsing, yeah, Akira. I mean, yeah, like all great shit, all great shit. And
Akira is way better than people realize. I mean, I think Katsuhiro Otomo hadn't really done any animation at that point, and he brought it like to the T. He made them animate 24 frames a second. He's just like, you're just gonna do it.
Oh snap!
So
I got a full team in here, so I got to say this: Revengers forever.
yeah, Neo, what's up, bro?
uh,
Very
I'll,
nice.
I'll admit I'm the least experienced when it comes to anime. That's why I'm just like I'm gonna let y'all have your fun because I don't really.
Oh,
Oh well, you need to get on that.
we
Oh my
need to so
goodness.
change that, bro.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I haven't seen anime. Berserk is one of my all-time favorite shows. I'm just saying that I'm not like where y'all are like, we got to see this anime, we got to see it. Like I have friends who are all about like all the various animes and whatnot. And I'm just over here like, man, I got my comics. Y'all can... Oh, new comic book cartoon. Yay, I'll watch that. Oh, it's shite. Go figure. Why
So-
am I not surprised?
Yeah, well, Ninja here can attest to my anime collection, right, Ninja?
Good lord. he's got as much anime as I've got all movies.
Probably more than that, bro. Yeah, at one point I actually had I had probably at one point I probably had like 3,000 DVDs.
Holy crap!
Wow.
Of anime. Yeah, well, that's because I worked at Suncoast Video, so it was easy for me because when the DVDs were first coming out, it was very easy for me to grab them.
Okay, so since you were at, sorry to cut you off, but I gotta ask. Since you were at Suncoast Video, let me ask you, did you buy Spriggan after it took 45 years for it to come out?
Yes.
Sad. Did you
Yeah,
enjoy
you
it?
can watch that on YouTube right now if you want.
No, it's okay. See, because once I have to wait 5 years for it to come out, fuck it, I'm not buying it.
Well, Jurassic Park took that long to come out.
No. See, I was ready. I had seen the trailers, and I was ready. My body was ready for Spriggan, and then it didn't happen. So I'm like, okay, I can live with that. And then they started teasing it again. And this happened like 8 times.
Yep.
And it would have a release date. And I'd go into Suncoast ready to pick it up, and it wasn't there.
Yeah, a lot of that came back to the. I could actually tell you a little bit what happened with that. A lot of that happened because ADV originally had the rights, and what happened was the Japanese company kept. There's some issues between the ADV and the Japanese company because they had done their dub and everything of it, and then the Japanese company was starting to pull some shit for them to release it. And so that's why it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember the reason that it happened, but it was just once it got pushed back to that point. When it finally came out and I saw it, I'm like, that's nice. Like at that point, I was done. Like, I don't want to see it. I want nothing to do with it. You've messed with me too many times. I'm done.
What I miss on the days is going into Blockbuster and seeing the anime collection in Blockbuster. It's like, what? Blockbuster has had anime? What's this?
Oh, I was long past it. I started getting into it thanks to Netflix when Netflix first came out. That was when I got hardcore into it because I could go and get the DVDs. So that was actually how I saw Neon Genesis Evangelion was through Netflix.
You guys are making me feel extremely old because I was there when anime became popular through VHS tapes.
See, I was there too. That's how I was watching. Because I watched, Tenchi Muyo, Ghost in the Shell was my first VHS tape that I bought for anime.
Toonami, bro.
Back
in the day, Cartoon Network did used to do some pretty good animes with Toonami. You guys remember that?
Toonami was awesome. I remember my local video store had I think it was Dominion Tank Police.
Oh, I remember.
I have that on VHS.
Great movie. Project Echo or Akko. I don't know how you guys pronounce that.
Yeah, Echo.
That's great.
Echo Biko Siko.
Yes, I love that.
If there was never a poster child for homosexuality, was that show?
yes, I didn't realize that at the time, but I just rented it because it had cute redheads who showed their panties.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a reason good.
So it's redheads.
At least you did not go into it expecting some grand, I guess you could say film or animated, I guess you could say an epic of grand heroes and villains.
But Project Echo was a great series, though.
But you haven't lived until you've watched Cat Girl Nuku Nuku.
Yes,
that's the one. I have that one on VHS because I've got a bunch of them on VHS, and then because that was the only way I could find them because I couldn't afford a DVD player. Then when I got the DVD player, I'm like, I'm not buying VHS ever again because those things were really expensive. Like the dubs were cheap, but the subtitles were like $10 more, and Suncoast had them Suncoast with them Suncoast prices. It's like, oh, you want the bad English dub? Here you go. It's like it's $19. You want the actual Japanese $35.
Yep.
3 episodes. Enjoy.
My most expensive set that I bought was I got all of the You're Under Arrest before they had to be special ordered. Each box set on DVD cost me $145.
Ooh. Ooh. No, that's too much.
So yeah, that's dedication right there.
That's not even.
Well,
Not.
there's a whole reason why they had the whole slang anime is crack, because it is expensive. It's an expensive hobby.
Oh yeah, when I was working at Montgomery Wards, right before they closed down, all of my check was going to buy the Dragon Ball Z releases when they were finally past episode 50, so you could see what happened. And I didn't have to watch it in untranslated Japanese on the international channel, which is how I incidentally learned Japanese, was just forcing myself to figure it out. So I could finally see it. Like, finally, I can watch Goku go Super Saiyan in English. Jesus Christ. It's only taken 8 times of seeing this thing.
Hey, we're getting some great references here. We got MS Gundam 83. Yeah, then Duskquill says, is it worth the effort to name any Studio Ghibli films as a favorite childhood anime? You can't go wrong with Studio Ghibli at all.
And then, of course, don't forget Gorgonite Emissary. See the can of worms you open, nerd. Yes, I did. And as for the Studio Ghibli, let me put it to you like this. My first anime that I ever saw was Warriors of the Wind, more commonly known nowadays as Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind.
That's a good one. I read the comic a couple of years ago. I took it out of the library and read it, and I hadn't ever read it before. I was very impressed by it. Miyazaki is just a fantastic artist.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he had done it all in pencil originally, and he had published it like that, but the reprints didn't look that hot, so he went back and re-inked everything.
Well, that's Japan for you.
Let's see. Gorgonite said Spirited Away was his first Ghibli studio movie.
Yep.
Duskquill agrees. Princess Mononoke was a good one. I wasn't too much of a fan of Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah, I thought Howl's was a weaker one, but yeah, like I really loved Princess Mononoke, Spirited Away. Yeah, those were some great films for me.
It's really interesting that the difference of the types of films though that sort of brought people together at that time, because you would have that come out and you'd have something like Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which is just gorgeous animation, absolutely stunning animation.
I must say I'm not really a connoisseur of anime, but I'm a big fan of Yoshiaki Kawajiri. That guy is probably my favorite animator ever.
Yeah, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. And it's just interesting that all these different films were sort of just being lobbed onto us at one point, and you have all this different type of storytelling and animation. It was a great time. Now, not as much, but then it's just like magnificent.
Yeah, I think honestly, the early '80s into mid 2000s were a great time. Like you said, not so much now.
Well, and I think that's why a lot of people are starting to feel the burn. It's because of the fact that it's like we went from having some of the best writing within comics and anime to can we go back to the golden age? This is not no. Can we get off this bus now? I want off, please. Please, no.
Yeah. I mean, the anime, even anime, itself is suffering quite a lot. I mean, there are some good shows. I don't know if you guys are watching Shield Hero right now. I mean, that is a fan. I've read the manga up to I think it was volume 8. I'm really loving the anime adaptation. There is some really good stuff. I love shows, especially when they get triggered by certain shows, yeah, like Goblin Slayer
Oh
and
yeah.
Sword Art. Sword Art, people are being triggered by those. I'm like, okay.
What was the deal with Sword Art? Because that
So
was
there's a rape scene, an attempted rape scene, and in there where two girls are almost raped, and basically Kirito and Yu-Gi-Oh go off and basically kill them and almost slaughter them.
so the problem was that the girls were almost raped and
Yep.
then avenged. That was the
Yep.
problem.
That was the problem.
That's right. How dare they not be
problem with
raped?
quotation marks, because we all know that these people just pretend to be offended, right?
Yes.
But that's not.
Outrage mobs.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing that happened with Goblin Slayer. There was actual rape and murder there, and so these, and once again, then in Shield Hero, why that's triggering a lot of these people is because there's a false accusation rape, and the guy. Yeah, and it's
I read the manga, so I know what happens, and their reaction is just like, really, you're upset that he was falsely accused, and you can't stand that someone's presenting a false accusation, because it totally never happens.
Yeah, and it's written by a woman too.
Yeah, that was the other thing. It's like, you're complaining, a woman wrote it.
Well, yeah, you know that stuff SJW when they're presented with a story about parallel worlds in which magic exists, and they think that a false rape accusation isn't realistic enough.
I do want to agree. Kill all goblins. Hashtag kill all goblins, because the only good goblin is a dead goblin.
Hashtag Goblin Lives Matters.
Yep.
Well, you say that,
We
but
got a goblin sympathizer over here. What the?
you say that, but didn't someone recently complain about how the orcs were victims of racism in
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings?
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah, they need to be all murdered too. Yeah, murder all gorks or
Orcs.
orcs.
You know what? I identify as an Uruk-hai warlord, and that offends me. As a member of a pro race, of a pro warrior
Proud
race,
orc
I'm offended by
race.
that.
May I say real quick though on the whole Goblin Slayer bit? I was planning on doing a video on it just because I saw how the left was acting about it, and I was like, okay, let me see what they're complaining about. Maybe it's blown out of proportion and everything, or maybe it's as brutal as they say. No, it turned out to be blown out of proportion. It was rather tame. I compared it to the comic book version, and the comic book version was made me go, okay, now that's a bit of a spice of meatball. What are you complaining about? Like you got it easy in the anime compared to what happened in the manga.
Bro, it's compared to what happens in other animes. Like, I don't know. I'm not even gonna bring up hentai. People who complain about the kind of stuff happening in anime, dude. Have you ever seen anime? Have you seen ninjas?
It's insanity.
Yeah.
This what happens in Ninja Scroll isn't even rape. It's something. It's next level rape. A guy gets inside a woman literally against her will.
Yeah.
Bible Black, literally. I got to see how they would be triggered by Bible Black.
Actually, they might tout that as good transgender roles. Look, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you can have Bible Black because there's
They're
actually
not transgendered though. They're not transgendered. Transgendered is a male switchable thing. She's actually considered a new type, a new half, because she has basically magically she has the male penis. She's still
right there. That's so transphobic that you don't admit.
That's food.
I mean, it's not like we all know that there's an evil girl with a dick in that anime. It's not like we've all seen it, right? I mean, we just heard about it somewhere. Wink, 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 wink.
Right? No, I'm sorry, but anyone who says they haven't seen Bible Black, I'm sorry. You've had that one friend be like, "Hey, you should really check out this one anime. It's called Bible Black." And then when you're like, "But it's a hentai," like you're sitting there looking, "Oh, don't worry, dude. It's a great story." Because these motherfuckers will have like amazing hentais with actual good stories, and you're like, Okay, fuck it. I came here for one purpose, and I'm leaving with another. Whatever.
One of
I
my friends, he's shown me his gay manga for like, I guess it's called Bara, but the book that he showed me, it's called Massive, and it's got like a bunch of gay artists, their comics in it, and it has interviews with the artists, which was actually why I was interested in it, because I want to hear what they have to say. And so they don't like that term. But I can't remember the term, what it is that they want to use. But at any rate, the stuff was like their stories, and it just devolves into porn, but it's a story. It's like
yeah
if you took the sex out, you got an actual functional story. And they all were like, I'd rather just tell a story, but this is what sells, so this is how I have to make money. But it's like they're narratives. And then
No,
you look at the stuff that comes out here, and like in a Marvel book, and you're like, oh my God, the gay porn is better than your like Captain Marvel book.
the average hentai is much better than any of the current German comics, because at least in the hentai, you know what the characters are and why they do what they do, which is, fucking.
Mhm.
Still, you care for them. It's the main guy fucks the shy girl, then he fucks the top girl, and then he fucks his mom or whatever. But at least you know who they are and what they do, what they do. There's the basic, there's a bare minimum there that they fill up.
It's just so bizarre that here you have someone who's made porn, and they're like, I've got to make sure that my characters have motivation. And then here you have a modern comic book from a major publisher, and they're like, ah, fuck it.
Yeah.
no, that's the. It's literally the whole thing that drives me nuts about it is like you just oh god I didn't even think about it until just now. You curse you, Chris. Curse you. I now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it because I hadn't made that connection.
It's true. It's like you cannot avoid the fact that these porn comics are better written than regular Marvel comics. And it's like when they try, it doesn't take very long for the book to not get any press at all, because it's like, oh, he's putting in effort. No, we don't want to let anyone know that that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't even really understand why it's become so hard. I mean, if you read comic books, you should know it. All it is okay. For instance, like Peter Parker. All right, you can't have his life going good. Like, and I'm not saying in the sense of like Mary Jane, Aunt May, troubles with them. That's expected. All right, that's the normal of it. But like, he's forever going to be with Mary Jane. It's just that they're having like financial troubles, things like that. Aunt May's talking about how she's willing to help him out, but he refuses to take help from her. He goes out and does his Spider-Man thing. Jonah Jameson is just making his life a living hell constantly. That menace Spider-Man. Make sure you get that plastered from wall to wall. We will not rest until we catch Spider-Man. That type of deal, while out there trying to do the right thing and be a good superhero. There's so much there that to work with and to tell a good story and to have certain elements that will draw the reader in. And instead, they're like, let's get rid of Mary Jane. Let's start having him date Mockingbird because fuck all, why not?
What was the reason that Casada gave for that? Was that it was something really stupid, like they couldn't. Oh, they couldn't tell stories with Peter Parker being married because no one could relate to him. Aren't all you married? Like
No,
you all
that's the problem.
Some of us are.
I
it's
was
like
I was once. So was Josh.
it's like
Or-
they're I'm talking about the creators.
Yeah.
Like they're married. So what are you talking about? You don't have stories to tell? You don't want to know what it's like trying to
Because
take care of your kid and then be Spider-Man? Because there's story there.
And
for,
it's go ahead.
I was gonna say for them though, they probably don't have a normal functioning, parent-child relationship. So therefore, they don't have this. They don't have this the story element.
I'm gonna throw a
Ew.
wild idea out there. Make it up. It's fiction.
Yeah.
Lie. Like it's your job is to lie. Make it up.
I don't understand the whole they can relate to the character thing. I'm some fat guy from the mountains of northern Spain, and I relate to a guy who lives in a mansion and dresses up as a bat and is completely ripped, and has sex with women dressed up as cats. And if I can relate to that, I mean, who can relate to something else, to whatever? You know what I mean?
Oh
Well,
no,
you have an imagination. They don't. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
it's one of those, like, okay, let's take for instance, Chris can only relate to Black Panther because he's black. I can only relate to Batman. Canales, you can only relate to Jessica Ramirez because Hispanic, even
I
though
relate to Bane though.
technically, well, see, it yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point too. But I we were talking about the Tom Hardy Bane earlier, so I'm like, that's what I pictured for Bane. So
Yeah,
like,
that's.
So
I
so
can also
so
relate to Tom Hardy Bane.
so that you're saying that mine would be Daredevil because
yes,
he's the Italian.
actually, if, I thought Murdoch's an Irish name.
He is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a ginger.
Well,
There
I
ain't
am
no redhead
Irish,
Irishmen
so,
or
yeah.
redhead Italians, are there? Is there such a thing?
Yeah,
It happens.
yeah. Actually,
Nobody
Northern-
likes them, but it happens.
actually, Northern Italians actually will have blonde hair and red hair.
This is true.
Huh.
This is true. I used to work. One of the managers I had there in Colorado. His name was Brian Melito. I kid you not. He was full-blooded Italian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed. I was one of the few people who actually noticed the last name. So he's like, I'm surprised more people haven't asked. It's like, no, I'm not. That's about par for the course. Most people don't have an ear for it. Let's just be honest.
Well, if you watch that scene from True Romance, the dialogue between Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, they perfectly explain why some Italians are dark haired and some others are like fair skinned and all that. It's really something to watch.
Yeah. Now, my family, how I got the blonde hair, blue eyes, because my family migrated. Northern Italians actually moved into Switzerland. So, my actual family
Swiss.
went over the Alps and moved into Switzerland. So,
But the point still stands, though, that there is, a big enough bleed over between mainland Europe where you do have a lot more blonde-haired, blue-eyed folk compared to in Italy, which is more along the equator and has more, dark skin.
don't forget the Germans also sacked Rome too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Europe is really a
It was
melting pot.
wunderbar.
If you actually look at, I mean, you look at a lot of European history. I mean, it's people conquering people left and right. There are no pure-blooded Europeans anymore.
Dude,
You
my
know?
my dad looks like a Bafomar Sharif, and he's Spanish.
Ah,
That's hilarious. All right, thinking about ending it at 8:30, which is about 8 minutes. Does that sound good with y'all?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Would be.
yeah.
All right.
Something real quick that I think, since we brought up Lord of the Rings a couple of times, when I went out today, I stumbled upon a Middle-earth Traveler, Sketches from Bag End to Mordor by John Howe. He's finally put out his Lord of the Rings sketchbook. I stumbled onto this in the Amazon store. Alan Lee put one out like back in 2005 or so, and I was waiting for John Howe to put one out. So it's like a collection of some of his sketches from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. So if you're
Cool.
into that kind of thing, I would check it out. It's like $28, but on Amazon it's like 18.
Well, I'll be the first to admit I'm not. I am not a Lord of the Rings fan. Like, the only reason why I'm even trying to set up just one game that's similar to D&D that I found is free to play, even though I have digitally a bunch of D&D books and whatnot. But I'm trying to get some friends of mine into playing dice games so I can get them to play like BattleTech and whatnot. Heroes Against Darkness, that's the name of the game. It's very D&D-esque. and so I'm gonna use that to teach them how to play and everything, and how to be a tabletop gamer and everything, just so I can get them to play like BattleTech and whatnot. But as
I've
far
never
as
played BattleTech. I've never played any of the tabletop games actually. I just like the art from the books.
dude, like I'm oh,
I want to play some Warhammer 40K.
you
Those
will
little guys are
die in
freaking
hell.
cool.
All I gotta say is, and this may be a Warhammer joke, but you know what? Heresy, flips, switch, purge. That's all I gotta say.
I used to be a massive Warhammer 40K fan in the past until it became too expensive and all my friends became institutionalized to some degree.
I guess then I'm the odd man
so
out.
funny.
I'm not a Warhammer. I'm not a Warhammer person. So
I've never played, and I don't have any game pieces because they're too expensive. And I only really found out about it like maybe a year ago. I was oblivious to the whole thing, so I'm not even going to go off on a Warhammer tangent. But the memes are hilarious.
Oh, dude, the memes are great.
Did you guys see that Donald Trump statue that they built in Italy?
Yes, that
Yes!
was awesome.
Oh, freaking so sweet,
That was
dude!
hilarious.
The God
Yeah.
Emperor, yes! They had a whole parade. It was Warhammer. It was great.
What the fuck? I love Italy now.
Well, weren't they trying to make fun of him and it just completely backfired?
Yes, yes, they
It's
were, and it
awesome.
did backfire. Everyone was like, "Yeah, oh, what, yes," because
Yep.
you know, and it's like, okay, and Tim Pool says it best. Republicans, when you try to troll them, if it's funny, they're just gonna find it funny because they have a sense of humor. Republicans didn't take offense to this; they just found it hilarious and awesome.
Dude, if someone built a statue of me dressed up as the God Emperor to make fun of me, I would be grateful. I mean, that's so fucking awesome.
Yes, it was. It was genius. They had like two of them, didn't they? They had like a smaller one that was like
Yeah, they
front of
had
the
the guy
parade.
dressed up as a space marine with the Donald Trump mask.
That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Well,
It was.
and like I said, it's like, at what point did someone not go, wait, this might actually backfire on us? We are talking about crazy Americans. They might actually take this as a huge compliment.
No, they didn't think
And
that.
we
They're like,
sure
we're gonna
did.
get him. We're gonna get him. We're gonna make him
We
feel
got him
bad.
now, guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the whole Orange Man is bad thing. You know, they think, you know, because once again they parrot the same things. They're like, oh, Orange Man bad, so this we can make fun of him. And guess what? Almost every time backfires.
Oh yeah. Well, when the end, or I should say the beginning, the middle, and the end of your joke is Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad, Orange Man bad. Orange
John
Man.
Ward.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that song is still awesome. I don't care what anyone says.
I love that song.
Like, oh my god, and like they pretty much. But Tim Pool said it best with that whole analogy, though, that Republicans, they're just gonna laugh. That's all they're gonna do. Oh, I guess.
Yeah, I think Republicans have bigger issues to worry about, right? I mean, it's not like, I guess there was a time in which they got all ruffled, tabletop games being satanic and, you know, heavy metal and all that shit. But I think they moved on from that. That belongs to the left now, being offended over pop culture.
Well, they just got out crazy. That's all.
Yeah,
they just got out crazy because they'll still do it. When I was in high school, they were losing their minds over Digimon. Like, are you kidding me? It's like, oh my god, Anjimon, he's not an angel, he's a demon. They're all demons. You have to understand, they're monsters. I'm not making this up. This was going around. They were losing their minds over
I remember
Digimon. So now it's the left, and it would be like, oh my god, how come that Digimon has big breasts? That's so sexist.
Well, and here's the thing, all right? The best way to explain it. These guys are starting to reach that point where they are hurting their own argument. And when I say they're hurting their own argument, I mean they're creating the parameters to where no one's going to continue to be outraged over everything. This is the death of the outrage mob. And Styx Hexenhammer pointed out best that this is what happens whenever you have a moral panic. It reaches such a fervor pitch to where eventually people start going, the normies start seeing it for what it is. And being the fact that they've been trying to, like, I guess you could say, to learn to code, how that became a meme, and them, the Twitter trying to protect the journalists because, quote unquote, so much journalism is done on Twitter. You know, because of that, that kind of showed the normies. And, like, prime example, all right, we had here in town one of KSWO's meteorologists got fired because she did the old I guess you say old West Hangman Tower with a noose,
Yeah.
and then there, all right, it was a brain teaser, it's supposed to be hang in there. Well, this Afro-American studies professor out at Cameron, if I remember right, that was her job, gets on there, starts complaining on the Lawton grapevine, makes a big old deal about it, complains to KSWO, gets the woman fired because she says that was racist, all the buzzwords, and how dare she knew what she was insinuating after all the lynchings that been happened. And now you have the normies here in Lawton have been awoken to the culture war. They've been awoken to the, I guess you could say, the fever pitch of the moral panic, and now they're starting to see outrage culture for what it is, and how useless it is. And the more they keep having this happen, and the more it happens to local people and communities, because they thought when it happens to people on a national scale, no one really thinks about it. You know what I mean? All of that happened to this big national, TV pundit. It will never happen to the guys here. And then when it happens locally, that's when they realize, oh, these people really are that crazy. They will push it from the national level to the local level.
Yep.
Yeah, it has gotten to a very bizarre point where they're eating their own to such an extent that it's just comical.
Well, the thing is, though, they're eating their own. It's why, actually, the funny thing is we've reached a point where if you'd asked me 6 months ago what I thought about Ocasio-Cortez, I would have said, be careful. Like, even Gorgonite can even tell you, a couple weeks ago, I made a comment to him about be careful with Ocasio-Cortez. And this whole Green New Deal is hurting her to such an extent that the Republicans are the ones that benefit from her, not the Democrats.
I loved going to work the next day after that thing came out because the people I work with, they're very progressive. So they didn't say anything, but I could see it on their faces. They were just let down because, like, she put it out. She didn't even proofread the damn thing. You have spelling errors and grammatical errors in your New Deal. You didn't proofread it.
Yep.
You're talking about giving money to people who are unwilling to work, and we're going to get rid of cows because, when you just wipe out an entire species and nothing bad happens, we're not going to have planes anymore. We're going to have high-powered trains because nobody wants to leave the continental United States. It's so retarded. It's so retarded. And she's like, we didn't write that. That was fake. That was just media made that up. The guy got on Tucker Carlson. I don't know if you watched it. He was on Tucker Carlson claiming that, no, that was just media spin. Someone just made that up. And Tucker Carlson has the papers in his hand. He's like so tempted to just point them at the camera like, look, it's right here. It's like, no, we'll talk about it on Monday. We'll talk about it. And then it's like, it's on your site. You pulled it from your site because you got caught. And you're giving interviews the whole fucking day talking about this stuff. So it's like either they made it up or they came in and just like stuck their hand up her ass and worked her mouth like a puppet. Because she was saying it on live television. And then the shit that happened with Amazon was just brilliant. You just cost yourself thousands of jobs. And you're like, well, we could have taken that $3 billion and we could have, built new roads and made new jobs for something else. It's like, but honey, it's taxes. In order to get the tax dollars, you have to have a company here to tax. You just kick them out. You have no money. And you have a fucking degree in economics. How?
I could tell you how, but all the SJWs would be like, would lose their, cool at me, basically implying that Ocasio Cortez blew all her professors.
I don't even know if she has the skill to do that. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean, look, the girl was a waitress, and she basically, in my opinion, everything I've watched her on, she has no clue what she's talking about at all.
she
And
really doesn't. She is absolutely clueless.
And mind you, like, remember the dancing video going around about her? Like, all the left wing outlets started trying to say, "Oh, look at the Republicans making fun of her for it." The Republicans were like, "Okay, she was in high school at the time. This isn't a new video. We're supposed to care. Why?"
well, it's the fake outrage. They want to make Republicans into being racist and sexist and stuff like that. It's the same thing they level at us all the time.
Oh
I
yeah,
think they want to sell the Republicans as the old guys in the, I think it was Dirty Dancing. That town in which it was forbidden to dance.
Completely.
That doesn't happen in real life.
Give me a good example. So I grew up when I am a Christian and I'm partly very conservative
Really?
in a lot of ways. Yeah, I know, really. Here's the thing: I don't even get outraged by some of the stuff that I see because it's like why video games? Why do you get so frustrated? Video games, all this other stuff. Just turn it off. Walk away. Yeah, the whole it's just ridiculous. I've seen it on the religious right, and I'm surprised to see it on the left.
Well, they just pulled that comic, The Second Coming.
Yeah.
They just pulled that, and I waited because I knew more information was going to come out, so I didn't jump to make a video. And I saw that Dan DiDio answered a question from somebody about it, where basically DC wanted to make some changes, and Mark Russell didn't want to make the changes, so he basically asked for the rights back. I don't know what the changes are. I can imagine that this was something to, hey, tone it down so we stop pissing these people off, but who knows? Either way,
Yeah.
he pulled the book, and it's like people are complaining about the book. The book's not out yet. You don't really know what is going to happen. The premise of the book has been done before and has been done better. So it's like you're rehashing the same material. There's so much other stuff you could do. But the people who are getting offended by it's like, what are you offended by? This is not the first time that somebody's wrote a satirical comic about Jesus. Settle down.
Sean Gordon Murphy wrote Punk Jesus.
Punk Rock Jesus is
Punk
awesome.
Rock Jesus. Yeah, and it's an awesome series. I mean, I don't look at it. I mean, read. If you ever read, what's his name? Did from Avatar. They did this whole series with all the different myth gods and stuff like that, and Jesus was in it. And it's like,
I remember that.
yeah, and I'm like, I as a Christian, I'm not bothered by someone making those things. The world will do what the world will do. It's like, why do you get so frustrated? I can't. But I'm not going to stop people from making stuff because here's why this is the big reason why I don't do it, because if the day I start banning people from doing their stuff, they're going to turn around and start wanting to ban the Bible.
Well, I mean, they're already trying to, like, if you were to try to make a religious themed comic, they'd be all over you.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
Billy Tucci is having that problem of like him trying to do religious themed comics. They're all over him for it. It's like, well, if you don't have to read it, if like he can make the book, and if you don't like the book, you can read the book and go, oh, it was shit. Fine.
Yeah.
But he gets to make the book.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly. What an interesting time.
Oh yeah. Well, what we have basically is just a whole. Oh yeah, Second Coming. Thank you, Duskquill. But no, the thing that's bothering me about the whole situation when it comes to, like, because I remember you actually tweeting about that, Chris, and I was like, that's why the only, like, I don't even remember people really being upset about that. If anything, I think it was the SJW that were more upset about it than anyone else.
I think it got on Fox News, and once Fox started talking about it, it ended up with like getting a petition. And like, you sign, first of all, you signing the petition on, it was like change.org or something like. DC
Ain't gonna do
Comics
shit.
does not care about your damn petition, so it won't make a difference anyway. What are you signing a petition for? They're gonna publish the book, or they're not gonna publish the book. That's what's gonna happen. They're gonna publish the book. You cannot buy it, and that solves the problem. Or you can buy it, and if it's crap, tell everybody it's crap. There you go.
Yep.
That's like what we did with Border Town. It's like, oh, they're gonna put the book out. The book's orders were terrible, and the book was an absolute travesty. It's not one of the, it is the most racist comic I have read in my life. It is unbelievable of how racist. I'm sure that if we were to go back in time and find out some of the stuff that the Germans were putting out during the 1940s, it rivaled that. It's that racist.
All I
And that's
gotta
all you got
say
to
is,
do is just
all I gotta
comment
say is
on it, you know?
I'm half Hispanic. That's all I have to say when talking about Border Town.
Well, I'm part Spanish. My grandmother is from Mexico, so
Well, but the whole point that Chris was making is because I remember watching it. It's like, and if the whole bit was like only like a page and a half of it was actual like proper comic. The rest was all identity talking points or identitarian talking points. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
There's
that's what.
there's potential. That was the problem that I had with, is that you could see how he could tell an actual story. And he kept interrupting his story to have this racial politics nonsense. It's like, you don't need it there. It doesn't have to happen.
yeah.
Why is this here? And then it's so on the nose. And then it turns out, oh, guess what? The main character's half Irish and half Mexican, so he's technically just mostly European, but move on. And guess what? The writer Eric Esquivel, he's half Irish and half Mexican. Oh, get the fuck out. I didn't see that coming.
All right, and no, and don't forget he's an offender. Because
Yeah,
remember, it's the court of opinions. All that matters. Doesn't matter if it actually happened in court. They got him for it. Nope. He was
I checked
accused.
that recently. There's no further information about him. So
No, the
it's
guy has
just,
killed all his social media. He doesn't tweet anything anymore.
well, I mean, just from the woman who accused him, there's been no further information from her either. So I don't know if it's in the court or what's going on, but it's just like everything is dried up since December.
But let's be honest. That whole situation, no one is surprised that all of a sudden that story, that conversation, dried up practically as soon as it started. Like as soon as they knew for a fact that they had won, that they had got their offender destroyed, and this, that, and the other, like his reputation completely ruined. Oh, yeah. Once they did that, it was done.
Yeah.
Just like, and to me, I can't help but look at that and go, if you're going to ruin someone's reputation, why stop talking about it after the fact where they can come back and say, you hurt my reputation. Now I can't find work, as a comic creator, writer, whatnot, when I didn't do anything. Like now, because there is no legal action, they're open to libel suits.
Well, the problem though is that he's not really going to be able to do that, because in his infinite stupidity, he couldn't keep his fucking mouth shut. So he had to go out there and tweet and basically implicate himself in the thing that he's saying didn't happen. You dumbass. Where is your lawyer? Why is your lawyer? Take his phone.
The guy basically admitted to it.
Yeah.
He asked for forgiveness. Oh, I didn't know I was doing a bad thing by forcing myself into women. So I apologize. It was patriarchy.
Right.
You know the guy is guilty because he used the same fucking defense every feminist man uses when they're caught red-handed, just like Joss Whedon. It was my fault. Patriarchy made me do it. It was James Bond.
It's just insane, though. I don't understand how his first statement was perfectly fine. It's like, I'm going to wait for more information to come out, and then we'll pursue legal avenue. Done. Keep your mouth shut. Why are you going back on social media and then saying, I didn't do anything, but obviously these people aren't lying, because something happened. So whatever happened, I'm sorry, but I didn't do what they're accusing me of doing, but I'm sorry. What the fuck are you talking about, man? You either did it or you didn't, or they've misconstrued what happened. Pick one. You cannot do all three because you are making yourself sound guilty, you idiot. So he
Guilty
can't
and
sue
an
them.
idiot too.
He can't file a lawsuit and say that there's any defamation against him because he admitted in print that he did something. And that's all they got to take and go, well, he said he did something, and whatever the something is, it hurt me. That's it. He's done.
That's wow. See,
Yeah.
I just heard that he came out and denied it. I didn't hear that he had, and like I'd heard he'd come out and denied it, and then he was let go by DC.
Well, the
Well,
event was the woman basically confronted him. When he realized what was going to happen, he shut down his social media. So she took the social media and basically put this post out saying what happened.
Hmm.
She implicated him without saying his name, but she gave all the details about who it was, so you couldn't be mistaken. It's like that time when I was a kid and I was out in like near Los Angeles. There was this man who liked to wear a glitter glove and loafers and a zipper jacket, and he had very pale skin, kept changing his color like every 3 years. Molested me. I don't know who it could possibly be, right? Like that was what she did.
be
So
careful. Razor
it,
Fist here, you say that he'll come through the internet and bitch slap you.
I actually agree with Razor Fist. So I already knew that Michael Jackson was not guilty when they did the trial in 2005 because they let him keep his kid.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
I have friends who take in foster children, and most of the kids that they take in have been abused in some way, shape, or form. If you are charged with a sex offense, they take your kids. Okay, in very rare instances will they let you keep custody of the kids, especially if they think that the kid is in the age range that you like to abuse. So his son, the oldest boy at the time, was the age range, the race, the hair color, and the eye color that, according to the DA, Michael Jackson just couldn't keep his hands off of. And you let him keep the boy with him. So you don't think that he's molesting children because you just left one with him. So you're lying. And then the FBI followed him around the world for a couple of years when he was going after the trial, and they never found anything. So it's not like, and he was going to Middle Eastern countries where if he wanted to do it, they wouldn't have said anything, and nothing happened. So no, he didn't do it. It just doesn't happen. So I agree with it that way. My general point though is that this woman was giving all this information. She pointed it to Eric Esquivel. So then people brought his name out, and then what ended up happening was he went totally social media silent, didn't say anything, and then once it kind of got out there and the pros finally started commenting on it, then it was like, okay, well, I gotta say something. So he put out a little quick statement, and then that was it. In the middle of this happening, DC finally decided, okay, we can't keep the books going. So they decided to pull the book. They pulled the solicitations for the new issues that were going to come out, but they also pulled the books that were already published and said that you can get your money back. And I'm not talking about from the retailers, I mean the customer could take the book back to the store and get their cash back. That was what this has never been done before. Okay. So that happens, and that's it. So he puts out his statement. DC's canceled his title. He should be done. For some reason, he decides, like a couple of days later, he's going to put out, like, he's going to hop back on social media and start making comments. And he puts out an entire, like, Twitter thread implicating himself. Why are you back on? Stay off.
Yep.
Someone needs to tell him, like someone needs to tell Mark Wade to just shut up and back away from the social media.
Somebody got to him. Maybe that was a person doing a particular voice that hit him a couple of times. So maybe I had something to do with that, because every time he put out a statement, I was making a video because it's just like, dude, you can't, like, you're not helping yourself. This is just a perfect example of not helping yourself. You're
Well,
being accused of something. Stay off of social media.
there is the old adage: your sins will always find you out, no matter what.
Yeah.
So he basically he just like a stupid idiot, just he basically if she wanted to, she probably could have said, she could have took that to court and said, here's the evidence that he did admit to doing what he did.
Well, the one that's really damning was when he was talking to the girl who was like 16, and she totally admits how old she is, and he keeps going. It's like, dude, she
Yeah.
told you how old she was. So at this point, have the common sense to stop communicating with her in writing. If you're still gonna talk to her, don't do it where you can be tracked, you moron.
Yep.
All right. That's pretty much just welcome to the modern state of comics, where people who should know better don't know better, do what they like, do something stupid, then double down on doing something stupid, and then admit about it in a roundabout way on social media. That sums it up. While all the other SJW comic pros are doing everything they can to circle the wagon and make sure that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the other disgusting part of it, of them saying, "Oh well, we didn't know anything was going on. We didn't know anything was going on." And then as soon as DC like cuts ties with him, "Oh, we've heard all these stories about him." Well, then why didn't you fucking say anything?
And then they kept trying to blame like Scott Lobel and all these other people and stuff like that instead of him. It's like, what? You guys knew. You guys knew. Exactly.
Do you think back in the day, if like someone was doing that shit during Stan Lee era, Stan Lee would have been like, "Look, knock it off. It's bad for business."
Yeah, there's some stories I've heard though of people doing certain stuff.
It probably wouldn't have gone public.
Yeah.
That's more likely than not what wouldn't have happened. If it would have been dealt with, it would have been dealt with privately. It wouldn't have gone public. But this type of stuff has always happened. This is nothing new. It's just that you're seeing people pretend to be upset about something. It's like, oh, we have a whisper network to protect each other. Or you could go to the fucking cops. No, we've got our whisper network. Or you could report it to the cops.
Yeah, right. It's like, don't sit there and complain about not being able to be safe because this offender or that offender, and then turn around and not report it. This way, what? So you can be another Christine Blasey Ford and report it 3-4 years down, well, actually more like 30 years down the line, and whatnot. And then have other women come out of the woodwork, all with increasingly weirder and weirder stories.
Because the one wasn't enough. It just
Right.
it wasn't enough. I mean, this is like it kills your credibility when you're saying that you take the stuff seriously and you won't report it to the cops.
And then you had the situation in Kentucky where, what's the lieutenant governor that would have taken over for Northam, I do believe.
Yes.
Fairfax, I do believe is the
Fairfax.
Like he has his, I guess you could say, Me Too moment where he has allegations placed against him, and all of a sudden the liberals are quiet. They don't want to talk about it. They're not trying to out clamor and have his career ruined and this, that, and the other. No. But
let's talk about the governor of frickin' Virginia.
Dude, that's actually okay, this will be the last topic because we should have ended this 30 minutes ago, but so this will be the last topic. The Governor Northam is staying in place because of the fact that when you had the Fairfax bit come up and the fact that they covered for him, he was like, well, if they covered for him, then they can cover for me.
Well, the whole thing with him was that he was getting hit because of his abortion comment. That was what was happening, right? Yeah. He goes on live radio and says, hey, if we abort a child like minutes before it's about to be born and it survives, we'll, help resuscitate it. And then we'll go into a room and decide what we're going to do next. You mean kill it again? And people are like, oh my God, you can't be serious. So he's getting hit with that. And then miraculously, just 2 days later, oh, look, we found this picture of blackface. That just magically appear. That's been his yearbook for like 30 years. How did you just randomly find that? And then he admits that he's one of the two people in it. So there's the Klansman and the blackface. He can't remember which one he is. It's like, well, I'm one of them. And then he changes his mind.
Well,
And it's like,
before
but
thinking about moonwalking off the
right.
stage.
I love that part where he's like, well, I had done blackface though when I dressed up as Michael Jackson. Why are you telling people this? You could have just said it wasn't me, which is already a contradiction because you admitted that this was you in the picture, but you couldn't remember which one it was. So it's like, oh, well, I did do blackface when I dressed up as Michael Jackson doing a moonwalk, and the reporter's like, can you still do the moonwalk? And he's looking around like he's about to do it. Like, do it. Doing his wife was like, that would be inappropriate. It would be inappropriate at this time, you fucking moron. And then he turns around and goes, okay, well, I regret the blackface thing. Dude, now you just jumped all over. At first it was you, but you couldn't figure out which one it was. Then it wasn't you, but you had done it at a different time. Now it is you. But the fact that you couldn't remember which one of you it was means that you didn't just dress up in blackface, you were also putting on Klan's robes because you've been doing it so often you couldn't remember which. I think you'd know if you were doing just one of them. So you're doing both. And then that was a distraction. And when that wasn't good enough to keep people from talking about it, then the Fairfax thing pops up. Right? And it's like, that's not good enough. Then the third in line, he's like, oh, well, I did blackface too. Why are you admitting this? Like, nobody was even looking at you. And you just randomly just throw I did some blackface too. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
It's like the trifecta of this was just unbelievable. So now, what are you talking about? You're talking about blackface and you're talking about Fairfax. You're not talking about Northam and his abortion policy.
Nope.
That's a wonderful psyop right there.
Oh yeah, and real quick, there's a question for you. Nia Star, hey, just some guy. I know you don't remember me, but I watched and commented on several of your videos. I'm still working on Henshin Hero Garwitzer, but I'll do my best to make it a fun and action-packed series, which I'm guessing is a reference to a conversation you and him had before.
Possibly. It's been a while.
Hey, all I gotta say is the fact that you have people being like, "Hey, don't worry, I'm still doing this," is a good sign.
Yeah.
Know what you like. But now, may I say though, final thought. Like I said before, don't need Captain Marvel. We just need Shazam. Leave the resting bitch face to, do other things that are not comic book related. And yeah, I guess we'll start with Canales on the closing pitches.
Oh boy, what was I supposed to do again? I'm supposed to pitch my stuff, the things that I'm drawing currently.
Yeah, and your Twitter when you had one. I suggest you get a Gab or mine.
Yeah. Well, you can follow me on Gab and Mines, and why not befriend me on Facebook? I'm a really approachable guy, and I post too, so you won't have to struggle to understand what the hell I'm saying. And yeah, keep an eye out for the Abductables, which is coming up in March, written by Michael Derrick. I think you're all familiar with it. But,
yes.
Yes.
He mentioned it the last time he was on, and how y'all were getting it close to ready for your Indiegogo.
Oh yeah. It's going to be up. Well, I don't know where, but you can check out the Indicron. You guys are familiar with Indicron, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Go
Yes.
check it on Indicron. That's my two next projects are there. The Abductables and Tombstone Blues. Both of them are about to be finished any day now because I don't sleep more and I'm extremely quick. So yeah, and also Purchase Decimators, published by the Wicked guys. The Wicked it's apparently been quite successful. I've been paying $6 more than the past month. So yeah, it's going up and becoming successful. Go check it out.
Word.
Very nice.
Got to support us Wicked guys, right, Canales?
Yes, I keep saying the Wicked guy. I know there's two guys, but I can't remember who's who. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's already plenty of stuff in my mind. Sorry about that.
I guess half the people here are wicked.
Hey, I hope to get my comic on Wicked. That's all I got to say to that.
Excellent choice for a publishing house, I must say.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But all right, Chris, you're up.
Okay, so you can check me out at my channel, Just Some Guy, CC at the end, but probably if you just type in Just Some Guy into YouTube, it'll find me. If you are subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed. And if you have clicked the notification bell, double check it just in case, because apparently YouTube is doing its usual thing.
In YouTube.
Yes.
And also follow you on your Patreon, right?
Yeah, I'm in the process of probably closing that down and moving over to Subscribestar. So
And
I'll have more info of that later. I'm still looking into Subscribestar. I haven't had a chance to take a break to do it because I've been losing all my time playing Kingdom Hearts. So
hey, I can't say nothing. I can't say nothing. Apex Legends and SimCity, the 2013 one, has had me the last few days.
Resident Evil 2 for me.
I bought that too. I didn't even take it out to plastic yet. It's just been Kingdom Hearts all the time.
Yeah, I'm the other way around. I haven't played Kingdom Hearts at all, and I have it sitting there. Plus, I have Senra Kagura to sit there and play with too. Onimusha Warlords. So it's like I got all these games to play right now. RE's just sucking up my time because I want to get that infinite ammo rocket launcher.
Well, to continue with the Disney tradition, I'm playing Alien Isolation. So, it's technically a Disney movie now, Disney game.
Yeah, it is technically a Disney game.
Yep.
But all right, next up, the one and only Sporkman.
Hey guys, as always, you can find me on here, YouTube, Sporkman Studios. I'm on Twitter, Sporkman Studios. We also do have a Facebook group. You can join over there. Also, you can follow Wicked Publishing to get more information about Sporkman. Goes to Japan, which we're going to be launching in March for the Indiegogo. We do have conventions in print for pre-order right now through Wicked Publishing's website, so that way you can support it there. And that will also, in the Indiegogo for Sporkman Goes to Japan, will feature our colorist, Mr. Ninja.
That's right.
Who is next in line for his closing pitch?
Well, I guess you guys can follow me on the Twitter at your ninja friend. I'm also on Instagram and all the other social media things like YouTube. I'm your friendly neighborhood ninja. I am, like Sporkman said, the colorist for Sporkman Goes to Japan. Also, I'm going to be the artist for the book that Doug Garrett, yeah, that's right, Doug Garrett, the creator of Lone Wolf, and I are working on a little something called Psychotron. We're going to be bringing out to you guys as soon as possible here, which I have been dropping links for everybody's good stuff in the chat here.
Which I appreciate.
Yes, and also be on the lookout for Science Wizard Comics by Josh the Amazing Animator. I'm going to be bringing you some Wanpool in floppy copy form. We're finally going to get that floppy copy of Wanpool. I'm just going to put that out there because, yeah, that's going to be happening very shortly here.
Nice.
So go look up the Wanpool or sciencewizardcomics.com. Look that website up and see some interesting stuff. And check out Wicked Publishing, and you guys can get yourselves some fantastic comics over there. Also, hey, I've been dropping links for John Dillard's Tales from Beyond the Gate, which is an Indiegogo that is launching here. Well, it's actually already launched. You guys go check that out and make sure you back it.
Hey, you
support some fantastic artists. There's a big part of this community that's been working on that project. So go make sure you support your, local comic artists. Or your independent comic artists, I should say.
All right.
We're busting our booties for you guys. Bring you guys some fantastic stuff.
You lie. Because all this art is not you busting your backside. That is just you being magically inclined. But all right. And as always, I'm your host, the one and only Bob Jones. And you can find me on Twitter at Brainiac420. You can find me in Mindsgab and TikTok at Bob Jones Comic Wars. And you can find me on BitChute at Bob Jones. So, I guess with that, I say we will bid y'all adieu.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night.
I